country aren't really familiar with Manning, but they'll get a lot of Manning tonight. This should be an outstanding ball game between the Monarchs and the Bishops.
Jacob Shiver and Christian Grayview will be back to receive the kick. Manning coming in their white shirts, their black pants, their pink socks, their pink wristbands. A big controversy before the game. They wanted those wristbands below the elbows, and all the kids were like, oh, come on. Below the elbows.
It's the little things, Dean. It's the little things that could cause a problem for these kids.
Well, what I have in common is that my forearms and my biceps about the same size. Those wristbands are going to fit either way. Number 32 kicking off for Manning as we get underway. A great season of Friday Night Rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. It's going to be a short kick. Shiver's going to take it at about the 20-yard line. It's going to bounce one or two times. He's going to be taken down after about a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, Dominique Pringle on the stop for Manning. A little bit of difficulty there on the initial kickoff.
We talk about Bishop England. We talked about Leo Albano. If you've not had a chance to see him play, he's something else. Your Chevy Silverado starting offense for the Battling Bishops. It's Baltimore, Rustler, Kunase, Bush, Hunter, Snyder, Shiver, Dengler. There's Albano, Kilgore, and Grayview will start in the backfield. A lot of interchangeable parts for this Bishop England offense as they get things going at about the 27-yard line. Quick pass to the outside to number 11. That's Chris Dengler. Going to pick up 4 yards on the play.
You know, talking with Jim Daniels, we take a look at the starting defensive lineup for the Monarchs. Briggs, Nelson, Felder, Fulton, Livingston, and young man we highlighted in the open. White, Owens, Wilson, Hilton, Parker, and Garris. But talking with Jim Daniels, his first year as the offensive coordinator at Bishop England, he said, you know, normally he doesn't have the opportunity to come in and take over with a team that has a 4-year starting quarterback. So having Leo Albano is a huge plus for BE.
Albano handing it off on the inside. Looks like it'll be very close to a first down. In fact, it will be a first down. We'll see a lot of Christian Grayview tonight set up in the backfield, number 3.
Yeah, DJ Felder on the stop for Manning, a very impressive young man. Dean, we had a chance to go on the field before the game and got a chance to get, well, pretty close to Mr. Felder, and a young man that's, let's just say, very tall, very lean, and could potentially play on Saturdays.
3 wide receivers set. Albano in the backfield with Grayview. He's going to hand it off. He's going to cut it to the outside, pick up 5 yards, going to pick up more, cuts it back to the inside. There's Felder for you, trying to tackle him. Going to take it all the way down to the 30-yard line, and great vision there on the run.
Yeah, also DeJuan Wilson with the tackle from Manning, as you see here. A nice job just avoiding that first initial rush. I believe, I'm not mistaken, that was Fulton coming off of the edge. And a good run that time by Grayview to get all the way into Manning territory.
So a 30-yard pickup on the play sets up first down at the 32 of Manning. Manning wants a timeout right there. You see the difficulty of that Bishop England offense. We do have a third member of our team. There he is, Brody Hart, down on the sidelines. Hey, Brody.
Hey, Dean. So, yeah, another great October night for football. Good matchup here. I was just talking to the Bishop England head coach, John Canty. We already saw a big play right there from Christian Review. He told me he's one of the impact players to keep an eye on tonight, lining up back there in the backfield. But he told me just the other week he had a 99-yard touchdown reception in that slot receiver position. So a lot of versatility out of this kid. Definitely an impact player to keep an eye on tonight, guys.
All right, Brody, thanks so much. You know, for Manning, he, again, started the season with 6 straight wins, lost the last 2 weeks to Hanahan and Timberland, the running back at Hanahan. Coach West said just tore him up, and Timberland put up plus 40 on him. But he said every time, and we talk about this almost every weekend, every time you have a positive play, you do something to bring the ball back. You turn the ball over on a long run. A perfect pass is fumbled. So these are some of the difficulties Manning has seen the last couple of weeks. See if they can put together a full game tonight as Bishop England sets up shop on the Manning 32-yard line. Albano back, going to find on the Will Bastion on the outside. Bastion going to take it all the way down to about the 25-yard line.
And that's one thing that Albano does well, is he gets rid of the ball quickly. You know, nothing fancy here, just want to fling it out to the flats and get it out to Bashane, and a good job by Bishop England, just trying to keep them honest. Obviously, Grey Boo has opened up the passing attack because of the big runs he's had so far. They're paying a lot of attention to him.
Albano's going to take it right up the middle. He's got plenty of space. Spin move. Going to take it all the way down to the 1. Take it all the way into pay dirt. That's a Berkeley Electric touchstone energy touchdown. Bishop England on the board, and on the board quickly.
Yeah, Leo Albano, no visitor. Obviously, always in the end zone for Bishop England. The spin move right here, right off of the tackle from Kashawn Garris. And maybe, Dean, that could be the play that could get us on the highlights at halftime. That was a nice spin move that time by Leo Albano.
We've been talking about doing that for some time, and we have been absolutely positively ignored as the chip shot goes up by Jaron McCoy. And that is good, and that's going to complete the 7-0 lead right there. So a 76-yard drive taking about 4 minutes and 28 seconds off the clock.
Albano, just no stranger to just leading this Bishop England offense. As we mentioned, a 4-year starter, Jim Daniel in his first year taking over. Just what a bonus it is for him to have a guy that has so much confidence, so much experience in terms of leading an offense. And Leo Albano, on that particular job, you saw a little bit of everything. And if you're Manning, it's kind of hard to stop everything. I mean, do you key on Albano, or do you go back to Grey Boo, or do you worry about Bashane? A well-balanced drive by Bishop England.
Well, the interesting part about this is when you look at Bishop England's season statistics, they run the ball about a 3-to-1 ratio as compared to throwing the ball. But on that particular possession, they threw the ball 3 times, ran it twice, and it was the 27-yard touchdown run that put BE on the board. A squib kick. Manny's going to recover it at the 44-yard line. Interesting choice of how you're going to kick the ball right there. Don't know if they wanted to try to get it through that front line of defense, but it didn't work. Good field position for Manning right now.
Yeah, Brandon Burgess did a nice job of not peeling back too soon. Wanted to make sure that the ball got past him, and when he realized that it wasn't, did a nice job of not trying to pick it up and run, but simply fall on it, secure possession, and now Manning will take over under the leadership of Jack Owens.
Owens, just a junior, hands it off to number 1. You see the speed on the outside. Cameron Kane all the way down to about the 42-yard line. That is going to be a first down +2.
Yeah, the jet sweep right there by Cameron Kane. You can tell they want to get on the outside. They want to use that athleticism to kind of test the edges. So BE, those defensive ends, they're going to have to turn those guys back in and turn them into the flow of their teammates.
You'll see some different running backs come in. All of them passed the eye test when we were down on the field, oh, by the way. There's Owens again fumbling the ball. He's going to keep it on a busted play. He's going to take it to the outside. He's got 5 yards down, about 8 yards. A flag comes in. Another one comes in from, looked like the International Space Station. I'm not quite sure. That thing was thrown at about the 10-yard line.
Jack Owens had a little difficulty securing the snap, but wisely didn't try to do anything but just take off and get as many yards as he could. Unfortunately, a block in the back will negate what would have been a positive run, and we see the block in the back right there at the top of the screen.
This is exactly what Keith West was talking about. Pick up an 8-yard gain, all of a sudden you're going to be behind the chains about 1st and 20 now.
When you play this BE football team, you talked about it, Dean, you have to be mentally tough, and you really have to minimize those mistakes. And when you're trying to take down one of the better, if not the best team in the region, you just can't have those mistakes. Owens
with a nice toss to the outside. How about that? If David Fulton, one of his top wide receivers, going to pick up 7 on the play, but you see the tight spiral.
Yeah, I talked to John Candy before the game. He mentioned that last year it was a barn burner, back and forth affair between Manning and Bishop England, and it was actually David Fulton that caught a long post pattern that actually ended up winning the game for Manning. He said they had their hands full with Fulton last year. They hope to contain him tonight. Well, you love the way he releases the ball, fakes to Kane. He's going to look right. He's going to throw down across the middle. The route was cut off, and a great play by number 3 by Bishop England. That's Christian Grayview, the running back, taken down at about the 21-yard line. Yeah, that kind of was almost a Hail Mary situation. I'd probably like to see that pass on 3rd down because then it serves just like a punt. But on that particular play, yeah, he just threw it down the field. Great defense by the Bishops. as Christian Greveux coming up with the INT.
Yeah, his receiver never could get position on Greveux, and Greveux was all over it right there. And then picks up a very important 17 yards, keep the ball at the 20-yard line or so.
And if you're the intended receiver in that situation, Dean, if you know you can't get to it, you have to make sure that they don't intercept it as well.
What are you doing there? You tackling the guy?
You tackle him. You
tackle him before the ball gets there?
You don't want to tackle him. You want to become the defender. So you try to at least bat the ball down. Anything that you can do to distract him from coming up with the clean interception.
There was a flag on the play. The ball's going to be brought back to about the Bishop England 13-yard line, and that's where Albana will set up shop for the second drive of the game. Got a timeout by Bishop England, Coach Canny. Not sure what he saw that he did like or didn't like, but obviously something on the sidelines. As we go to break right now, about 5 minutes or 4 minutes gone and a half. Bishop England, first drive score, makes it 7-0 game. We're back after this. Welcome back to Daniel Island, Bishop England High School, where the Bishops have taken an early 7-0 lead on Manning. Had a quick timeout after an interception, only 10 men on the field. So Coach Canny decided it better to go 11 on 11 than 10 on 11. And they'll operate and get things going at about the 13-yard line with 9 minutes on the clock.
I guess that would be one way to test just how efficient your offense is if you could score with just 10 players.
Albano handed off on the inside to Greveux, who's not going to get anything on the play. Manning stacking the box.
Yeah, about 4 white jerseys there, led by David Fulton on the stop for the Monarchs. And that's a particular play, Dean, where you just kind of have to keep the defense honest. So you kind of run every once in a while just up the middle. That just gives the defense something else to think about. And now you try to, once you get them, I guess, trying to creep in, you kind of hit them on the outside.
Going to stay on the outside, and a nice play on throw underneath the number 1. That is Will Daniels, going to pick up the first down and a few extra yards.
Yeah, Will, the backup quarterback, the wide receiver, the son of the offensive coordinator, Jim Daniel.
A former one-time coach here at Bishop England. They're going to set the sticks at the 30-yard line. So a 16-yard pitch and catch from Albano to Daniel.
It's just simple but perfect execution by Bishop England.
Great containment on the outside. 3 white jerseys taking Greveux down. A loss on the play.
Yeah, nice job by Keli Dupree. Also helping was Chris Livingston, the young man we talked about early on. Great pursuit. And really just disciplined football you have to play against this BE, because one guy has to have the dive guy, and then somebody has to have the quarterback, and then also the pitch guy as well.
I think the biggest thing will be for Manning to contain the edge, force him back inside. Another throw to Daniel inside, gets hit up high, going to pick up a yard after contact, going to set up about a 3rd and 4.
And I'm kind of shocked that Manning's playing off as much as they are. It's a situation where you have to kind of get up into the face of the wide receivers of Bishop England and not allow them to get just a clean release. So you got to jam those guys at the line of scrimmage and try to disrupt their timing. But as you can see, these DBs and secondary guys, they're playing about 5 yards off the ball. And BE's just doing a great job of running to a spot.
Albano inside, Manning there for the stop. Somehow Albano comes out of the pile of Monarchs, picks up the first down +4.
What can't this guy do? You mentioned it, Dean. Looked like he was going to be stopped right here initially, but give him credit for he kept those legs moving, kept driving, and then able to kind of fall backwards and fall for a first down. A big run by Leo Albano that will keep the drive going.
Darrell Parker with the stop right there. I think the problem on that play is that they were going for the strip of the ball instead of just taking down the man.
That normally helps.
Albano back, looking right, throws right. And that is Graveau going to go ahead and scoot forward almost on his belly for +5 on that pass play.
And this BE offense, very patient, not trying to get the ball down the field, just taking what the defense gives them. They're doing a nice job of mixing in the pass and the run, and the passes are very safe passes, simply 5-yard outs or 5-yard curls. And again, Manning's going to have to do something different, or BE's going to have their second score of the night.
Second 4, 48-yard line. Albano inside, going to cut it outside. A flag behind the play. Regardless of where this play ends up, it's coming back. Not going to be a touchdown. Again, the flag thrown at about the 48-yard line. It's going to be a block below the knees. Going to negate the run.
And a perfect read by Leo Albano, even though it won't count, but did a nice job of faking to the tailback. And you're right, Dean, that will bring the touchdown run back.
And you talk about the Leo Albano bio. It is quite impressive. I mean, broke 2 long-time records here at the school, set 30 years ago by a gentleman who went on to play at Michigan State, played under Coach Canty's father. He was a 4-year starter at quarterback, all-region the last couple of years. He was the back of the year his sophomore year, all-region in basketball, baseball, on and on and on. Getting close to 2,000 yards this year in total offense. Also, he's got some great grades.
Just safe to say he's an all-around great kid. Athletically, academically, he is what a student athlete should look like.
Albano rolling out. He's got pressure on the backside. He's going to be taken down. That's David Fulton with the pressure and a big sack on the backside. And what a turn of events the last 2 plays.
Yeah, that was a tough situation for Leo. Him obviously being a left-hander and rolling right, having to throw kind of across his body. He stopped and momentarily saw Fulton and wisely protected the football and just took the sack.
Saw good speed on the outside. So I think the only way to check Albano through and through is if he's got a brother or sister, right? That's where you're going to get the real dirt. That's where you're going to get the scoop on the kid. The second and a long way. Albano's just going to take it up the middle. Or 3rd and 26. Sorry about that. So Manning comes up with the stop. And again, what a turn of events. A long touchdown run. Negated by the penalty, a sack, and then just a safe quarterback run, forcing Bishop England to punt it. And that is number 18, Jared McCoy, the sophomore, kicking it away from about the 20-yard line.
Nice job that time by Peyton Nelson, making sure that Albano did not get away that time and escape and pick up a first down. So we'll have a stoppage of play. Another timeout called by Bishop England. Dean, that's their second. We still have 4:42 left to go in the first quarter.
Again, 10 players on the field again. Whenever you see Coach Canty, that was a very brisk walk. Did you notice that?
Kind of like
a very, very brisk walk. All right, let's crunch some numbers brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. This is really a family affair here. Jack Canty coached 30 years at BE. That's John's father. Jacob Shiver was last of 4 brothers to play at Bishop England. You got some more on there? The list just goes on and on. Of course, Coach Daniel coaching his son, Will Daniel.
grew up with John Candy. We actually played almost a block.
That block punt is kicked, and I think it was tipped at the line of scrimmage by number 19, Khalid Dupree. So Dupree making a couple really nice plays there. All right, so I've been told that we have so much information, we're going to break those up by quarters for you.
All right.
But again, a ton. A lot of family here.
And John Candy and I actually played together growing up during the recreation years. And
Really?
his dad coached us for a little bit.
In football?
Yeah. So John and I got a chance to catch up with him before the game. His dad's hanging in there. So obviously prayers go out to Coach Candy. I'm sure he's home watching the game tonight.
Jake Owens with the handoff to Kane. He's going to be taken down 3-yard loss. This is the offense for the Manning Monarchs. Nelson Johnson. There's Livingston, Briggs, Stukes, Cameron Kane. We've already seen him plenty today. Williams, Brock, Fulton, Wilson, the running back, and Jack Owens, number 15, the quarterback. For defense, it's Stoney, Brown, Hollister, Hand, Mingo, Hunter, Michael, Review, Shiver, Bastion, and Claire, the defensive back. 2nd and 11. Owens looking back right, finds a man across the way. In, out of the hands. It's going to end up out of the hands by David Fulton.
Yeah, almost a circus catch, but a nice job by Jacob Shiver being in the right place at the right time. Maybe a little nudge, a little tug on the jersey. Forced a lack of focus, and it will result in a 3rd down. And if you're Manning, you hate to waste this possession. You had outstanding field position, and you would like to think you could at least pick up a 1st down or 2. But right now, a crucial 3rd down coming up for the Monarchs.
Owens out, looks, got a receiver. It's Fulton again. Going to be about 2 yards short of the 1st down. Great opportunity to go downtown or go downstairs and check in with Brody Hart.
Hey, Dane, so I'm here with the mothers of the Bishop England backfield. I've got Lori Review, and they're still cheering. So I've got Lori Review here on the left. Also have Wendy Albano. So Lori, your son is Christian Review.
Yes.
So big play already. Big plays already for him tonight. Tell me, what's kind of your feeling? This is one of his last games as a senior.
It's a bittersweet night. We've had a great season, and football is my favorite, and watching our boys is just the favorite thing to do. So, yes, he had a great pick, and so I'm hoping we'll keep doing great.
Now, Wendy, your son Leo, he's the quarterback. So big things on the horizon potentially. What's it mean to you, one of his last games as a senior?
He's just had a great time. He's been playing with 10 of these boys since 7th grade. So it's very special. He loves all these boys on this team. They're a family, and I mean, he wouldn't be where he was without the other guys on the team. And Coach Canny is an awesome coach and has really just instilled the character and discipline in these boys. So we're going to totally miss Friday night football game. So.
Well, best of luck to them both. Thanks for talking to us, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, guys,
All right.
I'll send it on back to you.
Real football parents of Daniel Island, hosted
right.
by Brody Hart. I love it. 4th down play, and the Manning Monarchs went for it. And I'm going to tell you something. You give the ball to number 33, Darius Williams. And we've got a discussion whether the ball was on the ground before he hit the ground.
And they're going to say,
yes
it was.
Bishop England football. So Williams picked up the 1st down on 4th and 3. He comes down on 1st down, trying to get a block, moves forward. And there you see the hit by number 21 by Bishop England. Jacob Shiver, ball on the ground. Shiver recovered as well.
It looked like, so big hit. Nice job putting the helmet on the football and able to knock it out. And you're right. That's a load anytime that Darius Williams carries the football. So definitely you're going to have to gang tackle that young man as he picked up a 1st down on the play before the fumble.
The 2nd turnover of the quarter by Manning, stalling out a 5-play drive. Christian's going to take the ball for about +6 on a run inside.
Nice tackle by Darrell Parker. Also on the stop for the Monarchs was DJ Felder. And the last thing you want, as we've seen this BE offense to be very high-powered, is you don't want to turn the football over. It's going to be difficult enough to beat this BE team with no turnovers. You definitely can't give them the football with a outstanding field position.
Call it 2nd and 4 from the 46. Albano back, rolling right, throws left, got an open receiver, and another 1st down, and that is Shiver, the man who came up with the fumble, is going to pick up a 1st down on a nice pass play and a great route run by Shriver.
Nice tackle made by Manning with Galai Dupree coming out of his secondary spot. And you know, Dean, for both of these teams, we're calling a lot of names a lot because these guys play offense and defense. These guys are true Ironmen as they very rarely leave the football field.
That's right. Everybody packed in the line of scrimmage. Looks like it's going to be maybe 2 yards on the carry on inside.
That bunch formation, very difficult to determine and who has the football.
Got a Manning Monarch down just about where that play ended us. Number 36, Caleb White, the linebacker.
It's being attended to by the trainers, coaching staff.
I don't know. I didn't really know when to spring the story on you, but I guess now would be okay time. Keith West, coach of Manning, longtime assistant coach all around the state.
Right.
Played at Sumter High School. Was the 4A Player of the Year, was the Shrine Bowl MVP, won a state championship in '87, played at Wake Forest, quarterbacked Wake Forest, beat the Clemson Tigers in '92 through a last-second touchdown pass. How old were you in '92?
That would be my senior year of high school, so I'm thinking 18, and I don't remember.
Yeah?
Wait, was it like a 10-3? I can't remember.
I didn't
it
research
just
that much.
It doesn't happen often.
No. They beat Oregon in the Independence Bowl in '92. He said, by the way, beating Oregon anywhere for Wake Forest was kind of a big deal.
Yes.
But he went on and coached back at his alma mater at Sumter for 10 years and went to Greenwood, was in Ridgeview High School, Westwood High School, Lugoff Elgin, and then took his first head coaching job after being assistant for about 20 years. So impressive future, I think, for Keith West.
Wake Forest, now the home of former Citadel head coach Kevin Higgins.
Yep, Albano fakes in the middle. He's going to take it and run behind his line. Going to pick up 3 yards on the play.
You know, somewhat surprised, Dean, when BE scored on that opening drive as well as in the second that obviously got negated. They kind of had this Monarch defense kind of spread out. And on this drive, they've kind of bunched everything up and then not have had as much success as on that opening drive. So maybe Coach Caney and Coach Daniel just trying to keep them honest, give them a different look. But let's see what they come up with on this third down play.
So 3rd and 5 from the 40-yard line. Albano's going to drop back, looks across. He's got a man open if he can get underneath it, and he cannot. So great coverage by Darrell Parker. And some, I'm going to smile and I'm going to wave because I'm on the Zaxby's Fans Cam. Tell you what, we do it every night.
Something about just being on TV. Everybody's got their recordings going on at home so that they can see the broadcast when they get back and they'll have an opportunity to see themselves on TV.
Quick punt, nice punt by number 18, Jaron McCoy. Picked up and a great open field tackle. That is number 12 by Bishop England, Sawyer Thompson.
Yeah, the sophomore defensive back. Outstanding punt coverage. Assuming he was the gunner, got down the field and did a nice job of wrapping up the punt returner. So Manning will take over.
Sawyer Thompson, a former neighbor of mine.
Oh,
yeah.
who knew?
Who knew?
Is he out there working out in the yard with the boys? And
no, Sawyer actually used to hide in the tree with Nerf guns and pelt us every time we came by.
Okay.
He's turned into a good little athlete.
He's got good aim.
45 seconds left here in the first quarter. Manning down 7-0. They're going to start the drive on the 14-yard line. It's going to be Owens handing off inside. Zach Kane is going to pop the ball out again. A third turnover in this first quarter, giving Bishop England some prime real estate. Take a look.
Yeah, that's Jacob Shiver again coming up with the fumble recovery. Another helmet to the football. You have to hold it high and tight. The third turnover for Manning, and this one could really be costly as BE's only got 20 yards to go before they pick up their second touchdown of the night.
Well, I guess if there's good news here for Manning is that with these 3 turnovers, they've only given up 7 points.
Correct.
If you're looking for a silver lining
for right now.
Jacob Shiver, been very, very busy man tonight. picking up the loose ball. So like you said, they're going to start it at the 20-yard line. Albano back, rolls left under pressure. He's going to throw it downfield and almost intercepted by number 7. That's Dontavius Hilton.
Yeah, almost a costly mistake by the senior quarterback. That's a situation where you just want to simply throw it out of bounds. Great pressure being applied up the middle from Manning. And again, that's why you just got to throw out of bounds, since this was nearly picked off. And that's a good adjustment that Manning has made. They're now blitzing from up the middle, and that's really forcing Albano out of his comfort zone and making him make plays on the run.
To get to the outside. So 32 seconds left here in a turnover-filled first quarter. Bishop England up 7-0. They scored on their first drive. Albano back's going to take it himself. And we talked about number 40, and there he is right there, DJ Felder.
Yeah, but you can't grab the face mask, and he literally turned Albano's head around. A very dangerous play, as we'll take a look at the replay here. And that's a situation where, yeah, that could have been very painful.
I think he had his hand on his shoulder pad and his thumb in that face mask.
It's kind of really hard to tell. But
by the way, I got to tell you, we have so much fun doing these games.
We do.
You know,
you
you have some teams that play well, some teams that don't play well, some teams get a ton of coverage, some teams that don't get a ton of coverage. I got an email last week.
Right.
There's 27 seconds on the clock as they're going to march even closer to the goal line, where they're going to set that ball up at about the 11-yard line.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was at the 20, so.
This lady was unhappy that I was being so nice to James Allen, didn't say nice enough things about Somerville. I'm just saying.
Okay.
We try to make everybody happy. Albano across the middle. Got a wide over receiver. That is Will Daniel at about the 10-yard line. He's going to shake off something, that little sting on the right side.
Well, at least she sent it to you and directed it towards you. I think you need to be fair to both teams. Or did she direct it at me? You just hadn't told me yet.
She didn't know. No. She didn't know why. How I could find it. She just didn't know why we were being so nice to James Allen. They were getting blown out. I don't know. All I know is Manning turned the ball over 3 times. Bishop England is threatening once again. They scored on their very first drive, made it a 7-0 game, and that's where we head to the second quarter. You're watching Friday Night Rivals on Low Country Chevy Dealers. Welcome back to Daniel Allen, Bishop England High School. The Manning Monarchs down 7-0 to the home team. 3 straight turnovers for Manning has put them in a hole. It is 1st and 5.
Again, please confirm to blow any whistles in the stands. No whistles in the stands. Thank you.
So BE trying to capitalize. Obviously 3 turnovers. John Canty would like to have a couple more points on the board. Let's see what Leo Albano and his squad can do here with this 1st and goal.
He's got 2 receivers, 3 guys in the backfield, 1 in motion. He's going to hand it off to the motion man. He's going to pick up the 5-yard, and then some. That's Jacob Shiver with the touchdown run from 5 yards out.
And nothing. That time they had success running between the tackles. So Shiver around the left side, ran behind his blocker. I believe that was Carter Kilgore who had the nice kick-out block.
They do so much, so many different things with this offense. Men in motion, and then you have the dimension of a running quarterback as well. A quarterback who can throw the ball pretty well, and you've got a real problem for defense.
Yeah, you don't know what to take away. I mean, you take away one, then the other can expose you, and you take away that. So it's a good problem to have as he misses the extra point. Speaking of extra points and Bishop England, how about Drew Costa getting a chance to potentially make the Clemson football team as a kicker?
He kicked on the 2 state championship teams here. I think he hit a plus 40-yarder. And when I talked to Coach Canty earlier, man, he's super excited for him to get that opportunity. We're back to crunching the numbers again. I told you it's a family affair here. This is brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Colin Garrett's the last of 3 brothers to play at B. And then, of course, assistant coach Jim Daniels' son is a freshman wide receiver. That is number 1, Will Daniel.
Another name that's kind of synonymous with Bishop England is Rooney. Paul Rooney, the athletic director.
Saw him
here.
Yep, saw him earlier.
Also basketball. BE seems to own, whether it be volleyball and girls basketball. Mike Darnell, the baseball coach on the staff here for John Canty. A lot of success. I believe over 100 championships altogether.
They got 120. They're going to squib the kick again. This time it's going to be picked up at the 25-yard line. Taken down is number 20, that's Charlie Michelle, with a nice tackle inside of number 5, DeJuan Wilson. Subway is proud to offer you a free mobile coupon. Text subs to 44332. You'll receive an instant mobile coupon offer that'll get you any 2 6-inch fresh value meals for just $12. Text subs to 44332 for this delicious offer from Subway. Message and data rates may apply.
SUBS 4432. Send. Got it.
You're on it?
I'm on it.
I don't think you can win. 1st and 10 from the 38. They pick up a yard, maybe 2 on the run play inside.
A nice carry by Caleb Wright. And if you're Manning right now, and obviously you're, Coach West, you just got to get something going. A couple of first downs, got to string those together and just get the ball moving. You don't want to give the football immediately back to this red-hot BE offense.
Can't turn the ball over. That's Jake Owens down the field. He's going to find number 1, Cameron Kane. Puts it right on the money to the 35-yard line. That's a first down for the Manning Monarchs.
Yeah, nice touchdown-saving tackle by Jacob Shiver. That was a nice ball thrown by the quarterback, Jack Owens.
So 1st and 10. And again, you go back to 3 consecutive turnovers, 3 straight possessions. Manning needs to get some points on the board. I think they've got the skilled people to do it. They're going to run it inside, pick up 2. Let's go downstairs, check in with Brody Hart. Brody?
Hey guys, so you saw that big play there by Cameron Kane. Another big playmaker that Manning's head coach told me about was number 2, David Fulton. Now he is typically their kickoff returner, but their coach told me, let me just read it for you. He's also receiver, safety, outside linebacker, kickoff return, also punt return, among maybe even some other positions. So when you talk about some big playmakers, he's definitely putting himself in a position to make a lot of big plays all over the field, and Manning could definitely use him to step up right here as they're down 13-0. Guys.
Darius Williams going to pick the about 6 yards on the run on the 2nd down and 8. We set up about a 3rd and 4 right now.
So does Fulton snap the ball to himself, throw it down the field,
he does.
Run and catch it, and then, okay.
Do you remember back in the old days when you snapped the ball to yourself, you'd be on the side, you just throw it in the air and catch it?
Those are the days when we played outside, Dean.
We still play outside. It's all good. Caleb Wright in the backfield. Owens dancing in the backfield. He's going to try to look long. Then he's going to spread the field out and pick up the first down. Nice job of directing traffic and really kind of directing an open lane for himself.
And you talk about some happy feet. Never really got his feet set. Always had them constantly moving. had someone open in the flats and kind of waved him down the field to give him some running room along the right sideline. So, yeah, you see here a nice job not throwing the ball, and Owens just waved his guy down and just simply took off. So a big run by Owens, and that's another first down for Manning.
Owens about 6'2", 190 pounds. Junior quarterback, started last year as a sophomore. 1st and 10 from the 15. They take it back inside, holding on to the ball, holding on tight as BE goes for the strip. It was a tough yardage inside by number 12, Caleb Wright.
Yeah, I saw Will Bastion and also Carson Mingo on the stop for the Bishops. And all of a sudden, this Manning team now starting to get a little momentum offensively, starting to get into a groove. Let's see if they can capitalize and get their first points of the night.
2nd down and 4, 2 running backs, giving it to Williams, the truck. Just moving it to the right side, going to be close to a first down. Hard to tell from our vantage point whether or not he got it or not. We'll know in just a minute.
And I think it's safe to say Williams is definitely better when he's running north and south. Just have him going straight, and he needs to kind of cover that football up with 2 hands. We've seen him fumble already one time tonight. So he's got to protect the football. You definitely don't want to have a turnover this deep in BE territory. But I would think 3rd and 1, this might be a good time to give it to the big guy, ride him through the through the lane.
All you got to do is just push him on the backside. Instead, they're going to give it to the Lightning instead of Thunder. Let's see how they mark it. That's Caleb Wright. Tried to get in behind Darius Williams.
Mingo and Hollister on the stop for the Bishops.
Going to pick up 4 yards on the play. It's going to be a first down and 1st and goal for the Monarchs at about the 6-yard line.
So you don't want to give it to Williams. Just run behind that young man. Looks like he's a big fullback type.
Owen scrambling to his left. He's got pressure from the front side and the back side. And they're going to have 2 blocking the backs right there. And a darn near interception there by number 24, C.J. Hand, playing that bandit position. Not sure I've ever seen 2 guys get blocked in the back on the same play.
Well, that's why you don't want to necessarily reverse field, because when you reverse, that's what happens is you put your lineman in a bad position. And as we'll see the block in the back right there. And like you said, he got 2 guys. So now that takes them out of the red zone. And just shocked Dean that they would even attempt to throw a pass down inside the 10-yard line when you run the ball so effectively tonight down here. Why not just continue doing what worked best for you?
Yeah, they had 7 run plays on this drive, just 1 pass. That pass was for about 28 yards. But again, now you set yourself up way behind the chains. That's 1st and goal from the 31. So I'm not sure where you go in the playbook with this. Owen's going to drop back. He's got 3 receivers. He's got somebody down the middle. He's got 2 guys. They actually collide with each other. That is Kane and number 9, Jordan Brock. Brock was running kind of on the far outside and then came across to get that pass.
Yeah, I don't think that was the play that Coach West wanted in terms of having 2 guys in the same position. But again, at this point, with it being 3rd down, actually 2nd down, I should say, I'd like to see them try to get the ball to Fulton. Maybe kind of get him isolated on one-on-one and let him use his athleticism to go up and maybe throw a jump ball to him at the bottom of the screen.
There you go. Owen's back looking. He's going to run it straight up the middle. He's going to be tackled. Carson Mingo sniffed that out from the get-go.
Mingo's been an animal all over the field tonight. So it looks like he was in charge of the quarterback in terms of spying him and making sure that he didn't break the pocket. So nice tackle by Mingo, and that'll force a 3rd down and long. I mean, 3rd and goal. You normally don't see 3rd and goal from the 31-yard line.
Yeah, they were in prime real estate, and a block in the back set him back. Owen's going to drop back. He's going to be forced out of the pocket. He's going to run to the right side, get past, that's number 55, Mac Hunter, the senior linebacker. Going to stop him at about the 27-yard line. Our Zaxby's fans cam picking up a couple of little Bishops.
Is that goldfish?
We got a pom-pom. No, yep, going to be a goldfish.
Yep.
Isn't that awesome? No, she's not Sharon, and don't even ask again. I don't like your dinosaurs, and you do not get my goldfish. I gave you my pom-pom.
That's right. I want to go back to Jalen Stoney Patterson with the pressure on that last play, Dean, that really forced quarterback out of the pocket. So nice job by the senior defensive lineman, Jalen Patterson.
There's 4th and goal now from the 26-yard line. Owens going to throw it deep to the left side. He's got one man in there, and what a nice play, a smart play by number 3, Christian Grayview, just to knock the ball down. And a really positive drive comes to an end.
And
As Owens just throws it up.
And you're right, Dean, a smart play, because had he intercepted the ball there, they would have had the ball 1st and 10 at the 1-yard line. But by knocking it down, they now will get the football at the 31.
13-0, Bishop England leads the Manning Monarchs. You're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealer. Welcome back to Daniel Island, where tonight Bishop England taking a 13-0 lead over the Manning Monarchs. Manning just put together a nice drive, only to be stopped really by themselves on a key block in the back call that set up a 1st and goal from the 30-yard line they were not able to recover from.
When it's working, just continue doing it until they stop you. When you try to get fancy, that's when things go awry, and that's exactly what happened on that last drive by Manning.
So with 7:11 to play here in the second quarter, Bishop England's going to take over the ball at about the 26-yard line. Albano's going to take it on the inside, and I would agree with you. They seem to have made the adjustment to stop that inside run.
Yeah, but you know what I always say, Dean, when you want to come up the middle, nice tackle, by the way, by Keli Dupree. It's time to run the old screen. Just invite them to come on in and slide, well, any of those backs. Grayview or, Bashane, slide those guys right behind the line of scrimmage, and the middle of the field should probably be wide open.
Albano setting up 2nd and 8. He's going to pitch right, look right, keep it right. He's going to fumble the ball. Ball on the ground. Manning's going to pick it up. So the Bishops taketh, and now they giveth away. And they giveth away in some pretty good field position for Manning.
Yeah, DJ Felder being in the right spot, right place. First
Title IX was passed in 1972, prohibiting discrimination against women in educational and athletic programs.
You can't run! You can't hide!
It's also been used to investigate claims of sexual assault.
Colleges just went crazy to try to stay in compliance, and what that meant was that they just abandoned due process.
Antonio Carpio is a Supreme Court justice in the Philippines, a man who has played David to China's Goliath in an international dispute in the South China Sea. When China refused to back down, there didn't seem to be much the small island country could do to reclaim its territory until Carpio and other Philippine officials decided to sue. The Philippines won its lawsuit against China. Did China change its ways?
China said that we are not complying with the ruling.
American homes in Houston, the Florida Keys, and Puerto Rico are not the only things underwater this season. So is the entire National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP.
Here you have a program that's subsidizing people to actually build in harm's way, to stay in harm's way.
Are you saying that they're almost encouraged to keep building in places that they're at high risk?
Absolutely.
Hello, I'm Scott Thuman in for Cheryl Atkinson. Welcome to Full Measure. Change at the White House always leads to changing policies and priorities. For colleges and universities, that's especially true right now. Under the Obama administration, schools were pushed to aggressively investigate allegations of sexual assault. But since the Trump administration took office, that emphasis has changed. It seemed to be a home run. Title IX was passed in 1972 to prohibit discrimination against girls and women in educational and athletic programs. It ushered in a new era of women's sports in college. But in the years since, Title IX has also been used to investigate claims of sexual abuse and harassment, and that has led to confusion and controversy.
That is a mattress.
Columbia University student Emma Solkowitz paraded a mattress around campus for months to draw attention to the issue. Baylor University fired its football coach.
You can't run! You can't hide!
Duke University shut down its men's lacrosse program, and the University of Virginia temporarily shuttered all fraternities, all after contested claims of sexual assaults. Universities across the country have struggled with how to handle, and been more than a tad confused by, a 2011 Obama administration Dear Colleague letter that dictated universities be more aggressive in dealing with those Title IX assault complaints. The Obama administration threatened to cut federal aid to schools that didn't do more to investigate and potentially expel students, and that meant not just leaving it in the hands of police. Enter a new administration with a potential block.
We know that this policy has not worked in too many ways and in too many places, and we need to get it right. And so we are determined through the course of conversation and the course of discussion with all parties to ensure that whatever is done in the future will address the issues and get them right.
What are your thoughts about the decision by Betsy DeVos to reopen essentially what's going on with Title IX?
I think big picture, we saw immediately that the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights is walking back protections for students.
Ann Hedgepeth is a vice president at the American Association of University Women. She worries Trump administration actions will again put students, particularly female students, at risk.
We're seeing evidence that the Department of Education is not as committed to the issue and really going to take a hands-off approach. That's deeply concerning to us. Seeing 1 in 5 women experience attempted or completed sexual violence during their time in college is a crisis.
Colleges just went crazy to try to stay in compliance, and what that meant was that they just abandoned due process.
Laura Kipnis, a professor of film studies at Northwestern University, says the goals of the Dear Colleague letter were lofty, but
a lot of times these cases are just very murky and not clear cut as to both what happened and who's responsible and what the consequences should be. So there's a lot of murkiness that the college administrators are trying to address in these very black and white ways, and they're, gray area situations.
Kipnis, who describes herself as a feminist, has a unique perspective.
I've been now brought up on 2 Title IX complaints by people who just didn't like the views that I was writing in first a set of articles and then in the book that are about Title IX. So, here you have a case where Title IX is being used against somebody writing on Title IX. So it's available for all sorts of, purposes, nefarious purposes.
The most common objections concern the lack of clear rules and procedures for actually investigating complaints. Who does the investigation? How do they investigate? Can students speak during the proceedings or even have attorneys represent them? Every school's approach varies, and no one on either side seems pleased with the process. There's so much confusion that a special committee of the American Bar Association spent months trying to come up with fixes. Both sides should have a right to an attorney or representative. Witnesses need to testify in person, not just submit statements, limit secondhand statements, and give both parties the right to appeal. But even the committee got stuck over how to deal with the most contentious issue in these university proceedings. What is the standard of evidence needed to find guilt? A preponderance, sometimes described as 50-50 plus a feather, or something stronger, like the criminal standard of beyond a reasonable doubt.
The Department of Education's opened the door for using a higher standard, one that would weigh information about, say, an accused student or a responding student more so than a survivor of sexual harassment or violence. That's really not equitable.
In 2011, advocates cheered this Dear Colleague letter because they said, finally, there are better protections in place for sexual violence cases.
Well, I think nobody knew in 2011 how this was going to play out. And for schools to adjudicate sexual violence cases, if there's a crime, I really believe that has to be handled in the criminal justice system. For one thing, these Title IX officers don't have have fact-finding capabilities. They don't have evidence. There aren't evidentiary standards. And even what standards there are, they're not proceeding in any systematic way.
Kipnis argues in her book, Unwanted Advances, that Title IX has ironically created sexual paranoia among students, where next-day regrets end up as official complaints.
Not all sex is great and positive. Guys are not, particularly drunken guys are not oftentimes the best lovers in the world. So, the sex that happens, I think, is oftentimes just probably not all that pleasant, but unpleasant sex is different than assault. So I just really think that, there needs to be more education and discussion and honesty about the realities of sex on campus and, particularly including just drunken sex. Just, probably not that great for anyone.
I think it's important first to myth bust around this notion of wrongfully accused. The evidence is that those numbers are far lower than the prevalence of sexual harassment and violence that occurs. But at the end of the day, it's also important not to conflate what schools are investigating with what the criminal justice system handles. There are really different things at stake there, and we shouldn't conflate the two issues.
I'm going to fight to change this culture.
Angry with the Trump administration, former Vice President Joe Biden issued a call for action.
Now the U.S. Department of Education and our new leadership is working to roll back the protections under Title IX that we worked so hard to put in place. We cannot let that stand. So don't give up. Speak out. Demand that your school continue to make progress.
Hedgepeth concedes there is room to improve what colleges and universities do.
More investment in technical assistance. Let's help schools get this right, and let's make sure they have the resources they need to educate students, to educate faculty, to make sure everyone understands the rules, the process, and is united in fighting against sexual harassment and sexual violence in education. That's the investment we really should be making, instead of saying, we'll just take a step back and not enforce the law.
Which is what she fears from this administration.
We're certainly disappointed to see a walk back.
I feel like you're being kind by saying things like disappointed. Is the more accurate word angry?
I think that we are frustrated, but also there's a lot of hope. It's nice when you have a partner in the Department of Education and the Office for Civil Rights, but there's certainly ways to continue to take this fight to the local and the state level when it comes to doing right by students and their civil rights.
Just this week, the California state legislature passed a law telling colleges and universities to follow the old Obama-era Dear Colleague guidance. But Governor Jerry Brown, a Democrat, surprised many by vetoing the law, siding with the current administration. Here in Washington, Democrats in the U.S. Congress are also promising to take up the issue. Ahead on Full Measure, turning uninhabited islands into military bases. Cheryl reports on the Chinese land grab in the South China Sea. U.S. Navy ships are stepping up patrols in the South China Sea. So what's our interest in a place more than 8,000 miles away? It's one of the busiest and most important trade routes in the world. What happens there affects prices on store shelves here. For the last few years, China has been taking control, building bases, asserting territorial claims. Cheryl Atkinson traveled to Southeast Asia and in the Philippine capital, Manila, found one man who took on China and won.
The typhoons came and 90%.
Antonio Carpio is a Supreme Court justice in the Philippines, a man who has played David to China's Goliath in an international dispute in the South China Sea.
There was a standoff sometime in April of 2012 between Philippine Coast Guard vessels and Chinese Coast Guard vessels.
Claiming historic rights in 2012, China seized the Philippine waters known as Scarborough Shoal in one of the world's busiest commercial waterways, hundreds of miles from the Chinese coast. When China refused to back down, there didn't seem to be much the small island country could do to reclaim its territory until Carpio and other Philippine officials decided to sue.
We had no choice but really since we did not have the military capability to retake Scarborough Shoal, we had to bring a suit against China. We have to sue China before a tribunal of the UN Convention.
This past July, the International Tribunal ruled that China's territorial land grab was illegal, but that didn't end the dispute.
The Philippines won its lawsuit against China, correct?
Yes.
What was the impact? Did China change its ways?
No, well, China did not. China said that we are not complying with the ruling.
China's claims over almost the entire China Sea is upending an order the U.S. has helped keep since World War II. And it's concerning to 5 other nations that have become prosperous in part by using these busy shipping lanes where they claim maritime territory. Will China move to control or even block them? At his nomination hearing, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson talked tough.
They're taking territory or control or declaring control of territories that are not rightfully China's. The island building in the South China Sea itself, in many respects, in my view, building islands and then putting military assets on those islands is akin to Russia's taking of Crimea.
The history of the seas and the laws that rule them were written over centuries and with blood. The permanent U.S. Navy was founded in 1794 to battle Barbary pirates who threatened the freedom of navigation and trade in the Mediterranean. In the 21st century, an age-old problem and a potential new battle on the seas. Until a few years ago, these little reefs and sand cays in the Spratly Islands off the coast of the Philippines and South Vietnam were largely uninhabited, wanted only as fertile fishing grounds. Now the Chinese have converted them into military outposts equipped with runways and sophisticated radar towers.
Currently what we're looking at is some construction on a landing strip.
And Chinese Navy ships have recently warned and harassed ships at sea, including U.S. Navy ships, which they see as meddling in their business.
This is the Chinese Navy. This is the Chinese terrorist guy. Please go away quickly.
Looking at the primary trade route, which now is a point of contention as far as China is concerned, and the militarization that they're...
Welcome to the Zaxby's Halftime Show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for full menu and to find a location near you. And each week, Zaxby's gives you a chance to win some free food. You can text chicken to 44332 for your chance to win $100 worth of delicious Zaxby's. Easy to do. And each week, David Ayler Law Offices is proud to highlight a scholar athlete from each participating school. The students selected will have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. And tonight's scholar athletes are Leo Albano from Bishop England, All-Region Football Basketball Sports Camp Counselor with a 5.3 GPA. Also his service through the St. Benedict Church. Congratulations, Leo. And there's David Fulton with a 4.2 GPA. He's All-Region Varsity Football and Track and volunteers at his local church.
Here with the Ayler Law Firm's David Ayler, and I guess for you, giving the Scholar Athlete Award week in, week out has got to be a special feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just so many individuals that probably could get it and should get it. Unfortunately, we can't pick them all, but it just shows you a lot of the youth that we have right now going the right direction at the right time, because we only know it gets harder from here, right?
Obviously. I didn't go to law school, you did, but I'm sure you'd like to put them on that path. For you at the end, to see that $5,000 check given out, how special is that feeling?
It really is just investment. You know, you got to look at these people and not just who they are, but who their parents are, who their grandparents are, their neighbors, the people that support them. It takes a lot to get to that point, and really to see that dedication at such a young age with a lot of downfalls and pitfalls that are out there to really finally make it. It's awesome.
High school football, looking back, is it something that you kind of have fond memories on from your high school days watching high school football? Is it something that kind of takes you back a couple of years when you're out here?
Yeah, absolutely, and probably trying to tell my dad that the high school football game was going a little later than I thought it would be so we could stay out later. Back then there wasn't the social media to let you know when. But yeah, absolutely. So many of my good friends were high school athletes. I was not, but I was able to cheer them on and definitely celebrate with them afterwards.
Awesome. David, thanks so much. That's David Ayler of the Ayler Law Firm. He is presenting the Scholar Athlete all year long right here on Friday Night Rivals. Good? Good.
Thank
Work?
you so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Zaxby's Halftime Show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. Tonight's trophy is provided by All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant. They have been in business for more than 20 years and are your source for corporate and sports awards. Remember, All-American Awards when you recognize excellence.
Blackman off the edge, looking downfield, and it's going to be picked off. Jones at the 45-yard line. He's got a blocker. Lulis has come this way.
All right,
Jones
we're back.
out of the tackle.
I thought you had muted us for the greatest moment in high school football history.
That's right, the leap right there inside the 10 and the touchdown. Going all the way to Asheville, up by 26, and pick? No. He caught it. Nope. Interception. That ball touched 5 different people.
It was 1-on-4.
All the way in Las Vegas.
Oh man, look at that fake.
How about that? Right up the middle. Thought
Show
it was
me that
a high
again.
Snap.
Can't do it, can you?
One hand catch? Nope. It's 2 hands, but a nice catch.
That's a big fella.
No, he looks like he's like 6'6". So keep beating me. Oh, here we go.
To Nashville.
Get off of me. You can't bring me down. Wide. He's still going, spinning. Just spun out of a tackle. How many missed tackles are we going to have?
That's
1,
5.
2. You got 32 and 2 running into each other, and he's still up.
No, he's not.
And 4 if he scores on this play. It's tackling practice come Friday, and that's a look at Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals. Great moments from across the country.
All right, we are 13-7 here at Bishop England on Daniel Island. It is senior night. I don't know if I've ever seen 21 seniors on a football team, but they are being honored here at the half. They take a 13-7 lead into the break. We're back. You're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Welcome back to Daniel Island, 13-7, Bishop England. 5 turnovers on the Knights, 3 by Manning, 2 by Bishop England. You're watching the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. And hey, fans, we're giving you an opportunity to vote for tonight's Spirit Award. To vote for Timberland, you text cheer to 44332. Or Manning. For Bishop England, it's 44332. Cheer B to 44332. Cheer A to 44332 for Manning and Bishop England. Cast a vote for the Spirit Award results coming up later tonight in our podcast.
Who's in the house? Who's in the house? Bishop's in the house. Who's in the house? Who's in the house? Bishop's in the house. Who's in the house? Who's in the house? Bishop's in the house.
All right, take a look at some of our scores from around the Low Country tonight. Fort Dorchester taking care of business as they do most every Friday nights for the last couple of years.
Yeah, West Ashley's done a nice job of only holding them to 31. Normally they have 40, 50 at the half. So Steve LaPrade getting ready for the big showdown next week against Somerville. Wando trailing at Ashley Ridge at the half, 13-3. Goose Creek and James Allen there in a dog fight, 3-0 at the half. And as we talked about, Somerville all over Stratford, 34-0. So 3 of the 4 games shutouts at the half, and Wando's been able to kick one through the uprights. So, yeah, everybody getting ready for the final week of high school football, which will be next week.
Word is it that the offensive coordinator for the Gamecocks is over at Fort Dorchester watching the Carry-On Joyner play tonight.
Kurt Roper.
Is that who that is?
Yes, and I believe Muschamp is at Pinewood Prep because his son plays Heathwood.
Is it Heathwood or Hammond Academy?
One of those H's in Columbia. So he's getting an opportunity to see his son play tonight as well.
Take a look at the early highlights. Bishop England scoring on their very first drive tonight. Made quick work of the Manning defense, scoring on just 5 plays. Leo Albano going to take it up the middle with a nice. Is that the Y button on the controller?
I think it's either the triangle. No, it's the circle.
Is it a circle?
Is the spin. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not down with that. And then the interception there by Graveau as Manning was trying to make a move. It was their first of 3 straight turnovers. Derry Williams trying to get the momentum going there, put the ball on the turf. Bishop England recovered there. But again, they only scored 1 touchdown off of those 3 turnovers. So Manning did a nice job of kind of keeping everything together. And again, about Albano, there's his turnover, 1 of 2 turnovers for Bishop England tonight. And this is the touchdown. If you missed it earlier, nice job here by number 2, David Fulton, in the back of the end zone. So again, we go into the half. We're coming out onto the third quarter. A 13-7 ball game. The Bishop England dance team showing us a new 1, 2, 3, 4. Go Bishops.
3, 4. Yeah, just keep counting. It's safe to say our smooth move could be that first touchdown by Bishop England. Couple guys out in the truck.
Is that how we're going with this?
Yeah, with the spin move,
Oh, you like the smooth move?
Yeah, Nick Case and those guys back in the truck who do a great job each and every week. I just did some of their work for them.
13-7, Bishop England leading Manning. We're back with a third quarter kickoff right after this. Two teams slowly getting back onto the field after an extended halftime as Bishop England celebrated senior night. And I don't remember a time when they had 20 of their 22 starters tonight at Bishop England were seniors. So quite the program being developed here at Bishop England. As for Manning, we will hear from their head coach in just a moment, Keith West. Manning started this year again 6-0, beating Wade Hampton. They beat Scotts Branch, Lakewood, Crestwood, South Florence, May River, and then losing to Hanahan and Timberland. Again, last 13 years, they were 108-58, just 2 losing seasons. That's in 2014, 2015, and that is when they brought in Keith West. He's standing by with our own Brody Hart.
Hey guys, here with Manning Monarchs head coach Keith West. Coach, did you put some stick-em on your players' hands at halftime?
Yeah, we had a bad first quarter. We had 2 fumbles and an interception. Had a drive in the red zone. We had 1st and goal inside the 10. Didn't get anything out of it. I mean, it's only 13-7, so we're still in this thing.
Well, that's the thing. Even despite all those turnovers, you're down by less than a touchdown. So still got to be feeling pretty good about the second half.
Yeah, we get the ball first. We've got to control this field position, go down and score, take the lead, and then get our kids fired up here.
Coach West, thank you. Best of luck.
Thank y'all.
All right, guys.
Good work, Brody. Stick 'em. Huh? Stick 'em.
Hey, you got to do something, man. You know, they drove a long way to be here.
I know. Back to the old Raider days, man. They had to stick them all over their helmets, their jerseys, everywhere.
Well, the funny thing is Brody went to Wofford, so he's probably not used to seeing passes anyway.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Used
Is that true, Brody?
Grinding the football with old Coach Ayers up there in
love it.
Spartanburg, who's done a great job.
We talked about the importance of this football game, and here's the reason why. Timberland is 3-0. They are waiting on Bishop England next week, so Bishop England should win tonight. That would be for the Region 7 3A Championship. As for Manning, they are 0-2 after starting out 6-0. He said that they had a couple of goals this year. One of them was to win the region championship. He's like, we're not going to make that. They wanted to improve their record. They win tonight, and next week against Lake Marion, they will have 8 wins compared to 7 last year, and they want to move on in the playoffs past the first round. They were knocked out last year in the first round.
And they should. The top 4 teams from the region will make the playoffs, so apparently Lake Marion probably will not be. They'll be the 5th seed, so both of these teams will be in the playoffs in 2 weeks.
Time now for your chance to win big, like really big. It's a cash card to Subway restaurants worth $500. It is simple. Just text Subway to 44332. You'll be entered to win the Subway for a Year contest. One winner will be notified by October the 30th. We thank you to our friends at Subway.
Getting back to that Fort Dorchester score.
Yeah.
First time in region play that Fort Dorchester hadn't scored at least 49 points in the first half.
This year?
Yes. From our good friend David Shelton. So
Big.
31. So you see, you laughed when I said that, but they're actually ahead of schedule.
They're ahead of schedule. They only got put up 31. It is an impressive show. They play Somerville next week. There's your scores. Taking a look at Goose Creek, James Island, close score. Somerville beats Stratford 34-0. And then Ashley Ridge beating Wando right now 13-3. Somerville, Fort Dorchester next week. Should be a great game. Everett and I have differing opinions on how that game is how it's gonna play out. Have you changed your opinion at all?
Yeah, I think tonight, because again, when they're averaging 49 points and a half and only scored 31, I guess they are somewhat human. So yeah, again, if Fort Dorchester plays a C game and Somerville plays an A game,
right? You still think the spread's going to be what?
Fort will win by 7. I think Fort will win by at least 3 touchdowns.
And that's if Fort plays a C game.
No. They play a C game and Somerville plays an A game. Then Fort will win by a touchdown.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Somerville has great players. Joe Call's done a great job. The quarterback, Jonathan
Bennett.
Of course, you got Shaq on the outside. You have the other wide receiver. You got the Diaz kids, the Rios.
Yep.
The running back.
Yep.
So they've got playmakers. It's just unfortunately Fort Dorchester has more playmakers than they have. And by the way, they have probably the Mr. Football in the state of South Carolina.
Okay.
Just saying. I mean, he kind of the tie goes to them because they have him.
I believe that Somerville will play within 10 points, have a chance to win in the fourth quarter.
Hey,
I'm just telling you.
Sounds like a Facebook profile challenge here. I'd love to see that
Facebook profile challenge.
that Clemson.
What are you,
Paul.
like 20?
I just want to see that Clemson Paul on your profile.
I'm putting a Clemson Paul.
Was it Bevo? What's the Texas Longhorn?
It's a Bevo.
Yeah, him.
It's a pooch kick again. For Bishop England. They must know something about the special teams of Manning. They have pooched this ball, and every time they've kicked off, Manning's going to start off with some pretty good field position at the 41-yard line.
And we heard Brody mention it, that David Fulton normally is back there deep as well in terms of kickoff return. So John Canty and the Bishops not wanting to put the ball in his hand. They want to limit his touches, and that's why they are obviously kicking it short. And so now Manning will start the opening drive of the second half.
Started 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. They've had good field position in this game. Only able to put up 7 points. They're going to start off with a run. That is Cameron Kane to the left side. He's going to pick up close to 8 yards on the play. He comes up holding his right ankle. And that actually is David Fulton, the wide receiver of the touchdown pass earlier. Let's see what happens.
When he got rolled up on, normally that's what happened. The wide receiver's down the field blocking, and someone will come behind him. Did a little stutter step for Manning, and just rolled up in the back of his leg. And that's got to be painful. Obviously, you don't see it coming. Nice run by Cameron Kane with the stutter step.
This will be a big loss for them. Fulton does a lot, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, he's by far their most potent player. The biggest offensive weapon. Has the lone touchdown tonight for Manning.
He's had 5 touchdowns on the year, 51 catches for 711 yards. Last week against Timberland in the loss, they had 9 catches for 150 and 2 touchdowns. You see Coach West taking a look there. You're going to help the young man up.
That's always good to see.
I'm not going to put any pressure on that right ankle.
So by the looks of that team, hopefully he'll be able to come back tonight and contribute. Well, obviously, this young man has a bright future ahead, and I'm sure Coach West would not do anything to put this young man's future in jeopardy. Maybe he can just tape it up and play through the pain.
It's like number 9, Jordan Brock, may take his spot. He's on the top of your screen. And number 11, Aaron Smith. Smith is a new receiver on the bottom of your screen. That is Kane going to take it to the right side. And boys, he's got some speed as he cuts through the hole. Picks up about 8 yards on the play. It's going to be first down from the 42-yard line.
And Jacob Shiver there again to make the stop for the battling Bishops. And a nice job, nice patience by Cameron Kane.
Look at him go.
Put that right foot down and turn up the field.
Saw that.
Just keep running towards the sideline until you find that hole and you hit it with authority.
They're going to go back to the left side. That's going to be DeJuan Wilson. He's going to be brought down just one hand, right? Just one hand.
Jalen, Stoney, Patterson. It's a bad man right there in the middle. He's a senior. And a nice job of fighting off the block. Just slinging him down like a rag doll.
That's pretty strong.
I'd say.
You think it's to stick him on those pink gloves?
It could be. It could be.
So second down and 13 on the play.
Yeah, we've called his name several times tonight. Doing a nice job in the interior for John Candy and the Bishops.
He's going to hide the ball. Owens rolling to his right. Looks out. He's got a receiver. That's short flat. That's Kane. He's going to pick up past the line of scrimmage. Going to set up about a 2nd and 8 on the play.
Yeah, Mingo there to run him out of bounds. I tell you, Kane very shifty. Does a nice job of getting skinny, as we say. Kind of turning to the side and slipping through those holes. Especially with Fulton being on the sidelines with an injury. Kane now appears to be the go-to guy for the Monarchs.
Yeah, they have handed out a heavy dose of Kane right here. Let's see they do it again. They will not. They go back across the middle. And the big fella is going to come down with a pass from the slot receiver. That is number 33, Darius Williams. Williams now shaken up on the play.
As is Will Bastain. Bastion, I should say. As you see the nice catch right here, and Bastion just hits his shoulder into his thigh. And as we can tell, Williams is no small young man.
Looked like he almost got him just right above the knee. He is face down. It was a first down play. Nice throw by Owens. And then Bastion comes up to make the play, throwing his body into the lower half.
And you would think Bastion against the smaller defender, Bastain, against Williams, I should say, that the tie would go to Williams just because of his size. But both guys appeared to be shaken up on the play.
We get going, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line as they look at that right knee area on Darius Williams. This is a kid we've seen do a little bit of everything today, even throw the ball about 40 yards downfield on a little pitch back to Williams from Jake Owens.
Had a quarterback sack. Now has a catch, has a couple of carries as well. You touched on it earlier, Dean. If you look at this BE roster, if this senior class ever decided to have a senior cut day for football practice, let's just say it's safe to say, Coach Canty, there would be no practice.
There'd be nobody there. Good news, Williams walking off under his own power. Coach Canty told me they've got 40 guys on the roster, 21 are seniors. 10 years ago, his first as a head coach, they had 90 guys playing JV or varsity. Now they're down to 65.
Wow.
Why is that?
Soccer, swimming, lacrosse, so many other options that we have here in the Low Country. And I think that's not just at Bishop England. I think that's really across the board. I mean, you think back to the days at Somerville when they used to dress 99 players. And they just don't, kids just aren't really coming out to play football. You have to wonder about all these stories about concussions and things of that nature. That's a deterrent as well for kids.
1st and 10 on the 29, cut inside and then back outside for number 12, Caleb Wright. Going to pick up about 5 yards, positive yardage there for Wright.
And this has been a very impressive drive for Manning. Not only are they moving the ball, they're taking time off the clock. They're just taking their times, working down the field. And they're, as we know, a one score away from tying and potentially taking the lead here. So a great opening drive for Manning here in the second half.
They've worked about nearly 4 minutes off the clock on this drive. 7 play. This will be the 8th play of the drive. They're going to take it back inside. Kane's going to put his head down way low and try to sneak out a yard or two. Bishop England defense there for the stop.
And leading the way again was Stoney Patterson. And looking at that BE front four, they do a nice job of not necessarily pushing up the field, but allowing the running backs to come to them. So they're very disciplined in their approach. And Patterson coming up with another stop, and it's going to force 3rd down and 5. You have to, again, no one's kicking field goals from here, so this is definitely 2-down territory.
Let's see what they do here on 3rd and 4. They roll him out. They will. They're going to actually counter it back to number 5, and a big pickup by Wilson. So big, he's going to take it down. Fumbles in the end zone. They're going to call touchdown. A Berkeley Electric Cooperative touchdown. Energy touchdown by number 5, DeJuan Wilson.
Yeah, that counter play had the flow going to the left and gave it to the backside guy coming over the right. And give credit where credit is due. A nice hard run by Wilson and able to drag the defender into the end zone. And the Monarchs, after a very slow start, an extra point away from taking their first lead of the night.
Well, really impressed the job that Keith West has done to keep his kids in this game after that first quarter.
So you're right, Dean. Talking about playing through it. I mean, you have 3 turnovers in the first quarter. Awful field position. Bishop England has great field position, but they weather the storm. They hang in there. And right now, they have their first lead, 14-13.
Well, that was an 8-play. Took about 3.5 minutes off the clock, finishing up with a 24-yard run by DeJuan Wilson. And now Bishop England with an opportunity to answer back.
Well, the kicker is getting back to what worked so well for the Bishops on that opening drive, which was spreading the field, throwing the short, quick passes, and not running up the middle as much. So let's see if Jim Daniel and the offensive staff will make that adjustment here in the second half.
Yeah, that first drive, they looked so good throwing the ball.
Like they could do no wrong. No matter what they did, they were picking up 5, 6, 7 yards a clip.
Let's see if they go back to that. Again, 2 turnovers in the first half by Bishop England. That ball's going to come down inside.
Ooh.
A nice tackle by Ryan Brown, number 14, at the 29-yard line.
That was textbook tackle there. Face mask in the chest. Grabbed the back of the jersey. You could not ask for a better play on that kickoff by Manning. And really give credit to Paul Bates for holding on to it. And obviously,
yeah, indeed.
He could have easily coughed that one up, but he didn't. Now, the senior quarterback, Leo Albano, will take the field. He's been in this situation before, has a ton of experience. So this situation should not faze the senior. Let's see what he can come up with here with 8:32 left to play in the third.
And I see if Williams is back out on the field for Manning. It's going to be a run inside. Nice job by Kilgore to cut it outside for about a 6-yard gain.
I like the way when he came through the line of scrimmage, he had the ball covered up with 2 hands, making sure that the ball was not knocked out of his hands. We've seen Bishop England have a couple of turnovers, a couple of fumbles, but he covers it up nicely here. As you can see, 2 hands on the ball. Then when he gets into the open, he'll take it off. Nice run by Kilgore.
A lot of options here on 2nd and 1 for Jim Daniel. He's going to hand it back off to Kilgore. I think Kilgore's going to be stopped maybe just a little shy.
Yeah, because he kind of turned his back to the first down marker, which means the ball was kind of behind him. But no, they're going to give him a favorable spot. So the drive will continue, a first down for the Bishops.
We did not have one instance where the chain crew was brought on to take a look at any close first down calls in the first half. They're going to go ahead and eye it and move the sticks. Shiver was in motion there. That's who he was trying to get the ball to. Fell a little short. The incomplete pass.
Jaron McCoy didn't really get his head turned around quickly enough to see that the pass was coming. And the pressure that Manning has started to apply to Bishop England has really caused them some fits. And we talked about it during that opening drive, Dean, that they would have to make some adjustments and not allow Albano to be so comfortable, and that's exactly what they've done thus far.
Albano inside, going to be stopped for a 2-yard loss. I think Bishop England was looking maybe for an offsides, thinking maybe somebody jumped a little early.
Yeah, give the credit Darius Williams.
He's back.
He's back at the nose guard position after lining up on the offensive side as a slot receiver on the last possession. He really is affecting this game tonight offensively, defensively. And yeah, I think he may have gotten to the neutral zone a little soon, but they did not throw the flag. So another huge third down facing it. Here comes the blitz from Manning.
Albano in the pocket. There's your screen pass, and there's nobody on that left side. First down plus some for number 6, Carter Kilgore.
And Mac Hunter with a huge block down the field that allows Kilgore to come up with the first down. And we talked about it, Dean, the quickest way to slow down a pass rush is to throw a screen. And there you saw the big block by Hunter that allowed his teammate to pick up the first down.
So a pickup of about 15 yards on the play, and a very important 15 yards for this Bishop England team, down a point now. Go ahead and go back to Graveau. Haven't seen him much in here in the third quarter. They're going to say a fumble on the play, and Manning is going to say it's going our way.
Wow.
Waiting for the official call from the referee, and there it is. The second turnover by Graveau on the day. Third turnover by Bishop England.
Let's see. We thought maybe he was down and the knee is down. Oh, no, I guess knee wasn't down. So good call by the officials.
Great camera work by our guys. We're going to go ahead and take a break here as Manning takes things over in the third quarter, leading 14-13. See if they can cash in this turnover for some points. You're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Welcome back to Daniel Allen, Bishop England. The Bishops trailing 14-13. Had a nice drive going, a 7-play drive, only to find themselves turning the ball over, recovered by Manning. They're going to set up shop now. 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line.
It's an opportunity to maybe really get the battling Bishops on their heels.
They're going to go back and keep it on the ground. They've been very successful to start the second half. That is Kane picking up another 7 yards.
Right now, every time he's touching the football, positive things are happening, whether they're throwing it to him, swinging it to him, or just giving it to him up the middle. Hunter there with the stop, but Kane becoming the workhorse.
Kane, all of 5'6", making things happen.
The scat backs, you got to watch those little guys. They just kind of slither through there, and you can't see him. They hide behind that big offensive line, and before you know it, he's running by you.
2nd and 3. We're going to give it to the other back. Nice play coming up from the defensive side of the ball is number 2, Will Bastian. Let's go downstairs and check in with our third member of our team, Brody Hart.
Hey, Dean, so I'm here with the principal of Manning High School, Preston Threed. So, Mr. Threed, you guys drove a long way here to get to us. We appreciate that. Sounds like you're going to be doing it, you said, for the next few years. Is that right?
Yes, it has been announced by the high school league that we will be in the next realignment, that, again, Bishop England will be in the conference with us. So we'll be seeing you all for the next 3 years.
And you were talking to me as we were walking over here. Got a lot going on with some other teams in the school. Is that right?
As we're in the fall, we've got several kids, boys and girls, that have qualified for the lower state championship in cross-country, track and field. And then we've got about 6 girls in tennis that have made it to the next round in the playoffs. So we've got a number of kids that are doing well in our fall sports.
And then also, right before we went on camera, you told me something that your band is doing next week. Is that right?
And our band on tomorrow will be traveling to Wofford College, playing for their halftime for homecoming. Again, they will be a featured high school band at a college game, and we're proud of them tomorrow.
Mr. Threed, we appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you, and we appreciate you all covering high school football.
All right, it sounds like I just heard some commotion behind me, guys. I'll let you take it away.
Never fails.
Brody Hart, I kid you not. Same exact play, jump ball behind you, only this time just 5 yards short of a touchdown.
Exactly. He threw it up to his playmaker, David Fulton. And as we say, Dean Stevens, as we see on Monday Night Football, he got mossed as Fulton once again just went up and took it away from the shorter cornerback. And the Manning Monarchs back in business, 1st and goal.
Yeah, 1st and goal looks to be from about the 8-yard line. They're going to go back to the run. That's the big fella, had a bad knee a minute ago. That knee looked just fine on the touchdown run. Berkeley Electric Cooperative touchdown, energy touchdown delivered by number 33, Darius Williams.
Darius Williams to take the run around the left side, follows blocker. Right here, as you see the kick-out block, open the hole, and Mr. Williams did the rest. No way you're arm tackling him. He's back in the end zone.
So this third quarter, 4:10 left, seriously owned by the Manning Monarchs.
That was a huge kick right there because it now makes it an 8-point, still a 1-possession game, but obviously BE will have to go for 2.
So 21-13, it's a quick 5-yard play. Scoring drive by Manning to go up, as you said, by 8 points. A 38-yard pass by Jake Owens to David Fulton was the key in that play. And you can see really the influence of Keith West. This is a guy, if you missed it at the top of our broadcast, who's won a state championship in '87 as a quarterback in Sumter. Loved to throw the ball. He was the Shrine Bowl MVP. He was the 4A Player of the Year. Quarterbacked Wake Forest. Played 91-92, started, 2-year starter, beat Oregon in the Independence Bowl in '92. This is a guy who likes to throw the football around. His second year as a head coach after spending about 20 years as an assistant coach. I asked him, I said, what's the biggest change? Because as an assistant, you know all the right moves, right? But when you take over, all of a sudden things change a little bit. And he said the biggest was just time management, all the administrative things. He's like, you cannot waste a second of your day.
Now time for the defense to take over. That's a live ball, Dino, and Manning has recovered it. A mental lapse there. Now we're going to have a penalty flag on the play, Dean, but a mental lapse as BE just kind of let the ball bounce around, and that's a live ball on the kickoff. But let's see what the call is.
I don't know if they're going to call that he did not have time to catch that football, or whether or not there was interference on catching the football, or whether or not his mask,
well, he definitely
his
had
face gear
time.
was
As you
grabbed.
can see right here, he just lets the ball bounce and he backs away. So, yeah, he had ample time to come up with that. He just had a mental lapse.
Wow. The officials are now discussing. I'd be interested to see what that flag is. We do not have a microphone on the officiating crew tonight.
Maybe they're asking who's going to pick up Zaxby's tonight.
Keith
on the ride
Keith
home.
West is pointing that it is
Wave it off.
Manning's
Yep.
football. They're going to wave off that flag. So another turnover. It is so interesting how this game has flip-flopped.
It's just like BE has lost all mental focus, and that's one of the few mistakes that we've seen Graveau do tonight. That's a ball that you got to come up and catch cleanly. You can call for a fair catch, but what you can't do is simply let that ball bounce, because then it becomes a live ball.
So this quarter opened up with a long touchdown drive for Manning, a turnover by Bishop England, another scoring drive by Manning, and now another turnover by Bishop England.
You see the tailback in this big lineup is Mr. Williams. Kind of have a feeling we'll see a little dosage of Darius Williams, and he has it right now.
This is a first dose right here, about 3 tablespoons. It's going to pick up 7 on the play.
Now, not as fast, obviously, as the bus Jerome Bettis, but kind of has that same body type. Just big, bulky, and just kind of let him get that momentum going forward and just have guys bounce off of him. He's done a nice job of toting the football.
I don't think you
tonight.
really need to run real fast if you're that big.
Exactly.
I mean, it helps, yes. Let's see if they go right back to him. Owens with 2 in the backfield. It is going to be Williams. And that pile is going to be moved forward slowly and pick up about 3 yards on the play, setting up about a 3rd and 3. Critical down now for Bishop England.
And it seems like this offensive line of Manning is wearing down this Bishop England defense. Now, granted, BE's defense has really been on the field for just about the entire third quarter. So you should somewhat expect them to be kind of fatigued and kind of on their heels. Let's see if they can muster up the energy here on this 3rd down play.
You got 2 huge backs on the right side. There goes Williams, going to pick up the first down. Going to be 1st and goal from the 6.
Yeah, right now BE has no answer for this Manning team, and you just keep feeding the big guy until they stop him.
That's 3 straight runs to Badarius Williams. Williams also key on the turnover on the last Bishop England possession. And still the same offensive set. They're not going to get, we're not trying to fool you. We're just going to run it straight ahead.
You know, the funny thing is on that last play, they actually had David Fulton wide open at the top of the field. I don't even think BE is respecting that they'll throw the football because they've had so much success running the football.
C.J. Hand, Daniel Hollister on the stop there. Williams going to come out for a breather, maybe a little tune-up.
And right now, if you're BE, if you could just somehow hold on for these next 2 plays, kind of catch your breath at the end of the quarter and kind of regroup and get ready for that 4th quarter stretch.
Owens doing a nice job of letting the clock work all the way down before they snap it. Looks like we have a timeout on Manning for Keith West. That's 2:05 on the clock.
Maybe his bigs need a little
Think they need a little breather?
They've been firing off the ball.
Certainly could understand that. Well, they wanted to be more balanced tonight, and I think they've achieved that a little bit as well. Let's check in with Brody Hart.
Hey guys, yeah, so we already see him out on the field for Manning High School. That's number 2, David Fulton. Went down with that ankle injury a little while ago. Just went over and talked to their trainer. Now, obviously, already see him out on the field, so you know he's doing better. She said just a twisted ankle. It's about the 6th game in a row that he's twisted that same ankle. She just wrapped it up a little bit tighter, threw him back out there. Said he should be fine.
Hey, Brody, quick question while I got you. If you twisted your ankle out on assignment for ABC News 4, how many games would you miss? How many days would you be out if you twisted your ankle covering the news? Nope, I lost him.
Well, go ahead, Dean. Say it again.
No, I was just wondering how many games would you be out if you twisted your ankle while on assignment for ABC News 4?
Oh, how many games would I be out?
Yeah.
How many days?
Yeah.
Oh, I could, Dean, I could be sitting down right now. You wouldn't even know. I can't. My photographer Matt here would just have to get down a little lower with me. It'd be fine.
Very good. Owens going to fake inside, going to roll right, looking at the pylon. He's going to sidestep. He's going to score a touchdown. Manning going up 21-3 right now. Your Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown with 1:50 on the clock.
Yeah, what a sidestep, little in and out move by the quarterback, little fakearoo here. Nice job executing the naked bootleg and just able to, you see right there, the in and out. Almost a block in the back, though. I'm surprised that flag didn't come out there. As we take a look here, Dean, coming up right there. How's that not a block in the back, but they didn't call it? And so the touchdown will stay, and Manning now on a, what's that, 20-0 run? It's 13-7 at the half?
13-7 at the half. So Manning putting together 3 strong drives here in the third quarter, making a 27-13 lead, not 21-13 as I spoke a moment ago.
On an unsportsmanlike flag thrown against Bishop England, and it looks like it'll be assessed on the kickoff. So right now, a little bit of frustration setting in for this BE team. But even despite that, still plenty of football left to be played. We've seen Leo Albano do great things here for this BE program. They've got the playmakers. They just kind of have to regroup themselves and make the most of each possession.
That PAT is good to make it a 28-13 lead. So a 15-point advantage. 2 scores down now on senior night here at Bishop England. As things kind of unraveled here in the third quarter for the Battling Bishops.
But as we just mentioned, still plenty of time left. Still plenty of time left. Dean, where's Corpus Christi, Texas A&M?
Corpus Christi, that is down south, not far from where the hurricane hit, Hurricane Maria, about 4.5 hours south of Houston. So it is part of Texas A&M's system.
All right. Our good buddy Darren Goldwater, who will be with you next week. It's there right now, watching us in Texas and also watching the baseball game. And she has a game tomorrow right during his Penn State Nittany Lions. So he'll be doing what we always do, Dean.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Let's talk about this personal foul on Bishop England, giving Manning an opportunity now to kick it off from Bishop England's 45-yard line.
And, of course, the most important thing is you have to secure the football. Cannot allow the football to hit the ground.
Well, again, when things start to roll downhill, it doesn't matter what sport you're in, baseball, football, basketball, all of a sudden you got to get a stop. And right now they've got to put a positive play here together. Graveau's going to take it at the 5-yard line. He's going to take it straight up the middle, and he is running with anger.
Yes, he is.
And taken from down behind is number 45. A nice tackle, I believe, is Trayvon Harvin.
And that's a great way to make up for the mental lapse on the last kickoff return. And you're right, Dean. He ran with authority that time. You could see the anger in that run.
Well, I watched him on the sidelines before that, and he was upset. One of his teammates trying to calm him down. If I'm Leo Albano right now, I'm giving the ball to number 3. I'm going to let him go here as long as we got him. Instead, Albano's going to try to take it up the middle, may lose a yard.
And see, on those particular plays, even though you're not getting the football, Graveau, you still have to act as if you are to make those guys respect you. But when you just stop, then that you eliminate yourself as a potential ball carrier. So you have to go through with it, even though you know you're not getting the football.
2nd and 10 now from about the 40-yard line. He's going to look back. Quick pass to number 1, Will Daniel. Daniel's going to pick up first down yardage and more. He's had a nice game on the outside. He and Albano have found a really soft spot in that Monarch defense.
Nice job by DJ Felder making the tackle deep in the secondary. But you're right, Will Daniel, the freshman wide receiver. I believe he's got 4 or 5 catches unofficially tonight, finding a nice soft spot, a wide open spot in the middle of that zone, and able to connect and pick up a first down for the Bishops.
Albano's going to keep it inside again. He's going to take it down to the 35-yard line, threatening for a first down. It'll be 2nd and short at the very worst.
Yeah, Peyton Nelson with the high tackle around the neck. Not typically what you want. You want to get nice and low and grab the legs.
Bishop England playing now like they have found a purpose, and that purpose is they've got to get on the scoreboard and quickly. Urbano in shotgun, fakes a handoff. He's going to take it up the middle himself. Going to cut to the left side. He's got some room to run. He's heading to the pylon. He's going to make it, and what a great drive. 3-play drive capped off by Leo Urbano. Touchdown run. That's a Berkeley Electric Cooperative touchdown. Energy touchdown.
That's his second touchdown of the night, and that's how you answer when you have the situation that they had previously in terms of snapping that 21-0 run by Manning. So leave it to the seniors to get back on track, that being Leo Urbano and also the nice kickoff return by Christian Gruveau.
Well, Urbano just kind of making his way through that defense of Manning, who really up 15 points, had to think, we got this thing under control, and all of a sudden, talk about a quick drive. That took all of about 1 minute and 10 seconds for them to cut this game now into an 8-point lead. All right, our Zaxby's fans cam, and I'm telling you, one of these days, and I said days, we're going to have Zaxby's delivered right here to the press box. It is all pink night here as we get ready to celebrate the Susan G. Komen Low Country Race for the Cure right here on Daniel Island. That gets underway tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I'd love for everybody to come out. Daniel Island, it's really a special event if you've never been.
That'll take place right behind us, Dean. Unfortunately, my daughter has a soccer game, so I will not be able to partake in the festivities tomorrow morning.
Bishop England now going to kick it out of bounds. Manning will take it to the 35-yard line. Are you coaching the soccer team?
No, this year I'm just being a soccer dad.
Really?
Yeah. Hung the whistle up.
Have you been asked by the official or / referee to please stop screaming? One time.
I just try to just be supportive.
You've not screamed at the officials one time?
No, because I don't really know the rules enough to scream at them.
Doesn't matter.
Offsides and, a foul here and there.
She's still fairly young, right?
Yes.
But 9?
10.
10? Give you a couple years. You'll be out of your head.
Screaming and yelling.
Screaming and yelling. All right, let's see what Manning can do. See if they can answer back now as the lead is back to 8 points. Manning with the lead. Jake Owens in the backfield. He's going to roll out right. He's going to throw it right. He's got a man. That is number 2, David Fulton. The one with the bad ankle is going to pick up plus 14.
Yeah, we talked about those high tackles. You got to get low on these guys. Anytime you try to tackle shoulder pads, you're leaving yourself open for not coming up with the tackle, but a nice 3-step drop here in the out pattern. And Gruveau able to finally get him on the ground.
Interesting, as much success as they had running the ball, they open up this series throwing the ball. Then they're going to go back to the run inside. Just hopping around there. Pick up 4 yards on the play, covered by a sea of green. Is that Kane, number 1?
Kane, as well as also Jacob Shiver in on the stop. And probably the only negative of that last drive by BE is it happened so fast that it put the defense right back on the field.
Well, they're going to get a break here as we go to the fourth quarter. 4 fingers raised to the night sky and those lights. It is a 28-20 Manning game. They have made a comeback, made this quite a game. You're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Welcome back to Daniel Island. Bishop England, the Battling Bishops, had a lead early. Lost it here recently to Manning, 28-20 now, as Bishop England's turned the ball over 2 times in the third quarter. Manning taking a look at a 2nd and 6 situation just on the other side of the 50-yard line. Bishop England's 50. Jake Owens, big running back, small running back, a little bit of thunder and lightning action. He's going to give it to his first back through. That's the big guy. That's Williams. He's going to take it down just short, about 3 yards of the first down.
And you look at that initial surge of the offensive line. Whenever you're getting 3 and 4 yards down the field, that's not a good sign if you're a battling Bishop. So they're going to have to do a better job of clogging up that offensive line. It could all start here with a big 3rd down coming up for Manning.
3rd and 3 from the 45. Again, they've done a nice job of milking that of the play clock.
He's trying to shorten this game and keep that explosive BE offense off the field.
Let's see if they give it to Mighty Mouse, and they do. He's going to take it inside. Not going to get the yardage. Mighty Mouse here, Mighty Mouse there.
Yeah, Carson Mingo with the stop. And again, you think back to that third quarter, Manning had their most success when they were running kind of that jet sweep and getting around outside of the tackles. But they've now gone on too. And if you're going to run between the tackles, at least give it to your big guy. But needless to say, they don't pick up the first down. So now they'll have to punt it away to Bishop England.
So Graveau is back. Here's the punt. He's going to let it drop at about the 25-yard line, pick up about a 10-yard bounce.
That's just a smart play by Graveau, not wanting to take any chances. And so now we get the ball back into the hands of Mr. Albano. As you see John Candy, the head coach, encouraging his team.
So just 3 and out after the Bishop England quick strike to make this a 28-20 game after Jake Owens ran a little quarterback keeper from 6 yards out. And here's Albano keeping it. He's going to take it up the middle for about 5 yards.
I kind of have a feeling like this being Leo's last home game, he's determined not to lose at home. And right now I believe it's going to be all 17 here in the fourth quarter.
Well, he's got the ability to do a little bit of everything. He's been really quite something to watch. You don't see a 4-year starting quarterback very often in high school football, but you have seen him right here. 8 yards on the pickup. Albano's going to take it again. Hit a couple blockers, and he's going to take off. He's got some speed, and he's got some room to the outside. He's going to take it down to the 30, to the 20. Going to be finally taken down at the 3-yard line. So Leo Albano with about a 75-yard run. Oh, my.
All he does is make plays. Actually ran into his own teammate, as we're going to see right there. They didn't want to get out of his way, so he ran right by him, and it was a foot race to the end zone. And thought he was going to be able to make it, but give credit to Daryl Parker not giving up on the play. But 1st and goal coming up for the Bishops.
My goodness. You talk about quick strike. Their last drive was 4 yards, 45-yard touchdown run by Leo Albano. Threatened to do it from 75 yards there, taken down at the 3. Everett, I think you're absolutely right. The Leo Albano show is about to take off. 2nd and goal now from the 1-yard line, and I don't blame them at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't get the help that you need, just do it yourself.
And again, I'm not.
And that's what we're saying.
Nothing negative about his teammates.
Oh, no.
But as much as he has been such an integral part to the success of this team, take it underneath your wings, young man, and go.
Quarterback sneak.
2nd and goal. 2nd and goal. The arms are raised. And that's a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown, courtesy number 17, Leo Albano.
Now you have to go for 2 here, obviously, but again, nothing fancy here, just a quarterback sneak. Now, Manning's going to be keying on Leo Albano because they're seeing the same thing that we're seeing. Right. Now would be a great time to run that speed option and pitch it to your tailback, Graveau. or whoever else you have in the backfield and allow them to run it in because they're going to definitely key in on Albano.
Or you can stretch him out and just let him make a couple of those nice shifty moves. You know, and that's the thing when you look at him.
You see Jim Daniel not happy.
3, 6, 8. Trying to see if they've got
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Nobody's coming off the sideline, so there must be 11 there. The funny part, the last time they had 10 guys on the field, the one guy that was not on the field was actually Canty's nephew. It's part of crunching the numbers. He also coaches 2 of his nephews.
Aha.
All right, let's crunch some numbers. We talked about this last week. The finalists for Mr. Football, the carry-on joiner from Fort Dorchester, Channing Tyndall, who's the number 2 prospect in our state, the linebacker from Spring Valley, Amir Abrams, a running back out of Newberry, Colton Bailey, who we saw play last year's state championship game when we televised that live. Kid is really, really good. And then Connor Shugart, linebacker out of Spartanburg. Those player of the year will, I would assume, be announced after the regular season.
I believe Newberry played Chapman last night, if I'm not mistaken. Thursday night game, and I want to say Chapman won. I heard David Shelton talking about it.
Yeah, they're really good.
So apparently they're in the same. They could have a rematch in the playoffs.
Well, we were televised the state championship games again from Columbia, from the 5As all the way down. It's a great collection of talent. You get to see players from all over the state. A lot of college coaches in Columbia to watch at Williams-Brice Stadium. So Albano's going to be in the shotgun with Shiver to his left. He's going to roll out to his left. He's going to throw the ball. A little pitch just outside the diving Christian Graveau.
Yeah, I think that was a run-pass option, and kind of surprised that Albano threw it. The way he's been running the football, you'd like to see him with his will and determination just lower his head and get into the end zone, but tried to throw it to his teammate, Graveau, who just couldn't quite come up with it. But still, 8:50 left to play. Send your defense back out, get you the football back, because right now this BE offense is on fire.
Their last drive took 1 minute and 15 seconds.
But the last 2 guys scoring,
This
right?
drive took about 1 minute and 20 seconds. They are not wasting around here. I like how the Manning player's reacting to Juan Wilson, kind of getting into the music himself. Bishop England has not wanted to kick this ball deep, and I can't imagine they're going to want to do it again.
And I'm somewhat surprised they've not switched and tried to sneak some of those guys up to that second line to put the ball in their hands, or even in certain situations have the second line pitch it back to the guys behind them and allow, whether it be Mr. Kane or Mr. Fulton or Mr. Wilson, come up with a big return.
The Mr. show. They've got some talent on that side of the ball. This one's going to be squibbed through. It's going to be picked up by nobody. Miscommunication. They're going to down to the 15-yard line. Kane thought Fulton had it, and they both just decided to run right by it.
And that's why you have to communicate. It's kind of like being a center fielder out in baseball. You know, you have to say, I got it, or mine. But if no one says anything, that's what happens.
So 2 miscues on kickoffs that we've seen. One by Bishop England resulted in a turnover. Manning getting lucky there with 8:50 on the clock. They're going to start 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line.
And that lack of communication cost them nearly 10 to 15 yards because the ball went that far back. So
easily.
But let's see what the Monarchs can do to respond to this game of runs. BE right now on a 14-0 run themselves.
You like the jet sweep? That's kind of what they're looking at right now, but it's not going to happen. The big fella, that is number 61, slows the progress. That is Bishop England. They're right there in the middle. Oh, and a flag comes in. It looks like it might be somebody was pushed late. I can't tell if it was the BE player or the Manning player, but the official saw it, threw the flag quickly.
Jalen Stoney Patterson again blowing that play up. Almost could have taken the handoff himself. He was in the backfield so quickly. As we await the call from the officials.
Personal foul is going to be on Manning. And it's going to be on BE. They're going to wash. Now we're going to play football. Call it 2nd and 10. 2nd and 15 after a loss of 5 on the play.
People getting a little chippy right now, but you have to be smart here. You don't want to cost your team because you're so jacked up and have your energy flowing. So you still have to play within yourselves. And if I'm Manning, I'm going to try and somehow find a way to block Jalen Stoney Patterson.
Block him. Look for number 2, David Fulton. That has been their go-to guy if they go back and throw the ball. And they are going to go deep. They've got it up in the air. It's Fulton again. That ball is tipped up. A nice play by Graveau.
What a play. He's given up about 3 to 4 inches on Fulton. But great coverage that time by the Bishops, as he just simply threw it up in the air.
Yep, underthrew him just a little bit, right?
Exactly. Mr. Graveau with the pass breakup and 3rd down and 14. And more importantly, Dean, should they not pick up any yardage here, BE should have outstanding field position if they force them to punt.
A little counter play. We saw it earlier. Kane's going to pick up 5, maybe 7 yards. Certainly not enough for the first down. Manning's going to have to run their punt team out while Bishop England has stolen momentum away here in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, Carson Mingo, the linebacker, did a nice job of plugging the hole, stepping up, making the play, wrapping up properly, and now they will get the ball back into the hands of the BE offense with a little less than 8 minutes to play.
Graveau set up about the 45-yard line, almost midfield right now. Manning punter's done a nice job tonight. Bad snap. Good rush, great kick. It's going to bounce at the 49 and come back. Stopped at the 49-yard line. That's where Bishop England will set up shop.
I'm sure unless Graveau was told not to catch it, he had a lot of room. Surprised he didn't come up and try to field that, but then again, he may have been under orders to not do so.
Yes, and Captain Leo Albano says don't touch it, don't touch it. The good captain.
Just gives me an opportunity to get 49 more yards for my offense.
Let's see how Manning counters what has been 2 quick strike possessions by Bishop England. Albano's going to come to the left side. He's going to pitch it. And there's room on the outside for Graveau, who kind of stops in his tracks. May pick up a yard, if that.
Yeah, Kashawn Garris there with the fundamental tackle. Nice job of playing disciplined football in terms of he had the pitch guy. Garris did not fall for the attempt of Albano to get him suckered in.
I was a little concerned that looked like the defensive end was sucked in, but he had some help from his secondary come up, and Graveau stopped for about a yard. Make it 2nd and 9 from the 48 now. Albano in the shotgun. He's going to look into the line, pick up 4 yards, make it an important 3rd and 5 right now. Who do we got out there? We've got 1 guy, 4 girls, wondering where their Zaxby's is. This is our Zaxby's fans cam down on the sidelines tonight. Good crowd here on senior night on Daniel Island for Bishop England. And a big 3rd down play here for Bishop England. Albano going back inside. Line collapses, leaving about a 4th and 3, and you'd have to imagine that they will go for it.
About to say, Dean, what do you do here? Because if you don't get this, you give Manning pretty good field position with less than 6 minutes left.
As inspired as my defense has played the last 2 series or so, I'm going for it, and that's what he's doing. TJ Snyder, number 14, coming into the huddle, bringing the play with him. Number 18, Jaron McCoy, is going to step out, going to come to the low side. He's got 2 receivers to the right. Graveau saddles up next to his senior quarterback. Albano's going to take it straight ahead. He's going to be stopped. And a heck of a play on the inside by number 58, Peyton Nelson.
Yeah, also contribute Khalid Dupree as well in on the stop and the point of contact. That's what it's all about. You got to stop that middle, and you talked about it. Peyton Nelson, the big guy in the middle, clogged it up. And the high snap obviously did not help as well.
It's a 28-26 lead by Manning. Let's see if they can add some points. We're back right after this. Welcome back to Daniel Island, where the streak continues. The home cheer team, the winner again. Cheer of the week winner, Bishop England. Congratulations. All right, so this is the bottom line. 2-point game. Manning with the lead. The ball 5:44. They can take care of business with a long drive and a touchdown. Right now they're going to go back to their big fella. He's going to pick up 5-6 yards.
Tell you what, Dean, if he continues to carry the football like that, they're going to rip it out of his hands, and BE's going to come with it. He needs to protect the football with two hands as he goes through the line of scrimmage. You can tell Coach Canty has instructed his defensive unit to tackle the football, because right now they need to get the ball back.
Well, if I'm a Bishop England defender, the issue that I have with that is that that's one large man where he's carrying the football.
But you got 4 or 5 of your teammates helping you out.
Now they're going back to the quick strike. That is Caleb Wright on the inside. He's going to pick up 3 to make it 3rd and 2.
Will Bastain on the stop, as well as Jalen Stoney Patterson. We called his name several times tonight.
Clock ticking at 4:51.
Who's going to step up and make a play for the Battling Bishops?
Cameron Kane is back in the backfield. He's number 1. Looks like you're going to have Williams, Caleb Wright. Kane is going to split out a little bit. This is where he likes to kind of make that move for that little jet sweep.
Exactly. Or a quick throw to him in the flats.
They're going to give it to the big fella up front. And a great play, both from the front and the back, to set up a very important 4th down play. Let's check in with Brody Hart. Brody?
Hey guys, well, it's senior night here, so what better way to kind of commemorate that than with a couple of Citadel cadets that are freshmen now. They were seniors last year, played football here at Bishop England. Hi guys, tell me your name again.
I'm Eric Vettel.
And you are?
Ian Butler.
Eric, so tell me, do you miss this? You're back here for senior night.
I sure did miss it. I had some great times on this field. I miss the camaraderie and just the game of the football. It's an awesome experience here at Bishop England.
Ian, can they pull it out?
Yes, sir. I miss it a lot, too. I'm back here trying to cheer on my boys, trying to get this win tonight.
Well, I see you guys back here cheering. You've been kind of raising your arms, causing some of the Bishop England players have kind of been calling you out, telling you to keep it going. So you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Brody, thanks so much. So Manning's calling a timeout, thinking about this 4th and 2 and the best play that they may want to run.
Can I put on my offensive coordinator hat?
Let's take a look at the Will Lou Gray Never Stop Learning stop of the game. Lou Albano inside. This would just happen on that big 4th down play. You see the Monarch defense coming to stop him. But right now it's Bishop England's turn, the defense, to get the ball back to the offense.
I think everybody in the stadium expects it to go to Darius Williams, the big guy. You got to use him as a decoy here. You fake it to him, Dean. You take off around the end because everybody thinks it's going to Williams up the middle.
Let's see if he can get Jake Owens. He had a nice bootleg. Ended up for a touchdown, 6 yards on Manning's last score. Let's see if they keep it in his hands or if they're going to move it around a little bit.
Well, Williams now lined up at the tight end position.
Here comes Kane. There's that jet sweep that you love so much. Defense was there, but Kane coming up with a big touchdown run. It's your Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown on 4th and 2 from the 48-yard line. And you talk about planting a right foot.
Yeah, exactly. He exploded up the field. Give that man credit. He's kind of carried this team in the second half, that being Cameron Kane. A jet sweep around, he sees the opening right there, and he just explodes straight up the field. A lot of missed tackles, a big block right there to free up Mr. Kane. The block by Caleb Wright. And that could be potentially the dagger for Bishop England.
They need to try to block this field goal or hope it goes left or right of the uprights. Give them a chance to keep it as an 8-point game. But boy, talk about the speed of Cameron Kane.
That jet sweep has, that's a must snap. And can he get there? Yeah, 2-point conversion is good.
Man alive. When things go your way, they go your way. When they don't, boy, they don't. And you got multiple flags. I would imagine it's a celebration penalty.
We've got a player down as well. So let's take a look here. Yeah, the snap was muffed. And give credit to number 32, who we don't have on our roster there. That's the penalty flag, was the spike at the end of the play.
Right. You got one player down now. That player was...
Looks like he's right in the middle of the action. Trying to...
I wonder if that's our center.
Good to see he's responding to questions.
All right, well, they tend to the injured player. Let's take a look right now at our Chevy Silverado drive of the game.
We'll talk about the jet sweep. This is the other jet sweep, the turn up the field by Mr. Cameron Kane.
This is the drive that put Manning up, and they have not looked back since then. An impressive third quarter run here by Manning in that third quarter. There was a touchdown run that topped it off by DeJuan Wilson. And that is your Chevy Silverado drive of the game. Manning continues to take a look at their player. We're not sure of the number. Bishop England's trainer is also going to come out and take a look right now. We've got, why don't we take a break? And when we do, we will come back to Daniel Island as they tend after this player right here. You're watching ABC News 4, or you're watching MyTV Charleston. 10-point lead for Manning. Welcome back, everybody. Let's check in with our tonight's smooth move of the game. Leo Albano with a nice shifty move. First touchdown by Bishop England in the first quarter. See the nice smooth moves put on by the senior quarterback, four-year starter. So we come back live out to the field here at Daniel Island on the point after attempt. One of the Manning offensive linemen was caught up in the pile. The play moved to the left of him for a two-point conversion. That player is still down on the ground just inside the goal line on the far end of the field. I know that a back brace has been brought out. Both training staffs from Bishop England and Manning are out on the field right now.
You never want to see this, Dean. Obviously, young man hurt, and you're hoping that they're just being more precautionary. In these types of situations, you don't want to.
It really did. Looking at the replay, and we're not going to show it. It wasn't, outrageous, but it seemed that he was just kind of knocked over, and maybe somebody fell on him awkwardly. So it didn't even look like a head impact per se. Maybe the hope is just a stinger.
Yeah.
At about the 12-yard line there, you see Jack Canny in the gray sweatshirt and Keith West, the Manning head coach, in the black shirt with his arms crossed. All of the players down, kneeling. Bishop England players out on the field.
And it is one of those situations where these young kids play so hard, they work so hard, and unfortunately, injuries just part of the game. But I'm with you, Dean. The best case scenario would be just a stinger, and they're just being precautionary just to make sure that again it's nothing more serious.
Both stands. We are situated right behind the Bishop England section, and just a still quiet throughout the stadium. On the Manning sideline, it looked like the family members of the young man are down on the field. And across the way, this injury coming at a time where there's really been a good football game to watch. Some turnovers by both sides, but Manning kind of took control of this ball game, and a win for them would put them at 1-2 in the conference play. Records right now, not really a big deal. I would imagine not a deal at all, to be honest with you. There you take a look at the Monarch players in from Manning, and this is a game that's going to be played for quite a while now, as Manning has been moved in to, as they've realigned districts, that Bishop England and Manning will be playing. In the distance now, you can hear the sirens of an ambulance moving in. So they will transport him, I would imagine, most likely downtown to MUSC.
It's always better to be safe than sorry in these situations. And, science, as we know today, and technology has advanced so much further in terms of handling these situations and being equipped to handle these situations. So, obviously, if he goes to MUSC or whatever hospital that he goes to, he'll be in good hands.
There's a level 1 trauma unit downtown. Now you see a couple of Cameron Kane and it's David Fulton walking out on the field, crossing about the 15-yard line to come check on their teammate, I would imagine. And now behind them, another player slowly walking out on the field. The good news is, if we were to look into body language, there was a smile from the trainer on the field. And now as we take a look at the Manning sidelines, another player coming over, 3 other players starting to walk over. That's number 57, Daquan Johnson, and number 60, Jameer Stokes.
And when you look at, the Manning community, small, close-knit, really that family feel. Not that Bishop England is not, but obviously the Bishop England student body, they come from all over the low country. So when one goes down, it definitely affects that whole community.
Well, that's what Keith West was talking about the other day. And, the thing that he talked a little bit about was, the opportunity for his kids to be able to play, in a televised broadcast game, something they've not been able to do. And now the entire Manning team walking over, some jogging over to surround their teammate. There's number 40. We talked about him, DJ Felder, for most of the night.
I want to point out, Dean, we still don't know who the injured player is.
You talked about the close-knit community, and that's what Keith West said on the phone to me, is that he's like, we're a one-school town. We're a one-school town. This is what we live for, and this is what we play for. And right now you see the teammates gathered around the player, and we will not venture to guess who this player is. That doesn't really mean anything right now.
You see Bo Bowers there in the white.
He's the Hanahan fire chief,
Right.
been very involved in Bishop England athletics for many years. Had his sons played here.
Obviously, having him on the spot, he made the initial signal to have the emergency services come. So right now, obviously, a lot of people praying for this young man.
You expect to see several people picking up that board and then putting it up on the
gurney and sliding it, or I should say pushing it off of the field.
You see Berkeley County EMS, that is the ambulance, as we're sitting in Berkeley County right now. 36-26 is the score with 3.5 minutes left to play in this game. They look like they were strapping him down to that body board and then again onto the gurney. We'll transport him to a local hospital. The game of football seemingly takes a back seat.
Really is. You talking about injuries, I'm sure you saw as well, Dean. Caroline Cashin, a young lady who played football at West Ashley, I guess 4 or 5 years ago for Bobby Marion, now playing soccer at the Citadel. She suffered a spinal injury.
Calling it a spinal concussion.
Right.
I talked to her dad at MUSC the other day. It was, and I watched the video. Did you see the video?
I have not had an opportunity.
It was such an innocent play, and it looked like it was a corner kick, a header out in front of the net. She went up to head it, and it looked like the defender kind of put an elbow into her lower back, and she fell to the ground and lost feeling in her legs. Some of that movement is coming back, but very similar to this play here. It was a very innocent play. It looked like someone on the line for Manning on the 2-point conversion and was just, literally pushed back as the Bishop England defensive line was trying to get pressure on the ball. He simply fell to the ground, landed on his lower back, and then, somebody kind of fell across him on his upper body. Didn't look like he took a hit to the head. So hopefully maybe a similar situation where it's, as we talked about, a stinger earlier.
Yeah, we've seen more violent collisions that don't result in this, and sometimes it's just simply everything is aligned perfectly, and unfortunately this could be the end result. But again, we're not one to speculate. We can just hope that this is more precautionary than anything else, that this young man will be okay.
Charleston Fire Department also on the scene. See members there. They're all EMTs. Bishop England players remain kneeling, as are their cheerleaders. Crowd on the sidelines in absolute silence.
Can I go back to Dean? When I first saw the young man down, one of his teammates kind of went over to assist him check and almost went to touch his teammate. And we don't know how serious this is, but in hindsight, we're kind of glad that he didn't, because he could have potentially done more. It's just, I guess, your natural instinct as a teammate, is to help a teammate.
Manning team starting to cheer, and that applause will now spread to the Bishop England sidelines, up into the stands. You see the concerns on the faces of mothers and fathers who don't know this young man, and it doesn't even matter. It's a young man, somebody's child, being rolled off a football field.
So that's his mom.
Keith West with his headset in his right hand, talking to the young man. As he will be lifted into that Berkeley County ambulance.
And obviously that young man, you have to figure, is very nervous and scared right now. Good to see. I'm assuming that's his mom or some guardian or someone related or connected to him that will be able to ride in the back with him, kind of calm his fears and his nerves. Now, more importantly, Dean, you got to go back. If you're the rest of these kids, you got to finish out this last 3:30.
You got Bishop England heading to the far end zone. Keith West maybe making the most difficult and important speech that he's ever made to his Manning football team. Watching one of their teammates rolled off the football field in the back of an ambulance. And there's still 3:30 left on the clock. You watch him.
Yeah, he's
just watch him.
Challenging his team to go win it for this young man. That they've come this far.
And that message delivered, and that message was heard.
And as a head coach, you know, Dean, it's so much more than just coaching. You know, you're molding these young men to become fine citizens, teaching them about winning, about losing, about, you know, character, and just, you know, it's just more than just sports. And just being able to learn from these situations. So now here's a situation where, you know, you've lost a teammate and, you know, injured, I should say. And so now how do you respond? Can you give a little more? Can you finish the drill? Can you finish this game, you know, for this young man? And I'm sure he challenged his team to do just that. And we'll see how they respond, because as we've seen, BE has had the ability to score very quickly. So while it is a two-possession game right now, there's still 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. And BE has there are 3 timeouts left.
I would imagine the officials will give them as much time as they need to warm up again. They were probably inactive for 20 to 25 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, you're about right.
And just to recap, Manning took a 36-26 lead after a 48-yard touchdown run. And a 2-point conversion was good to make it a 10-point lead. Bishop England had the ball at the 7:30 mark and was stopped on 4th down, which gave Manning the ball back. And they scored just 4 plays later. So Manning will be kicking it off from the 25-yard line. They were penalized for spiking the ball after that 2-point conversion, so they were penalized 10 yards on that play. So Bishop England, you would imagine, will have some pretty good field position here as they start to take over with 3.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
And those things matter. And you get a big return here. We saw the previous kickoff return by the Bishops, by Graveau. And you got to figure with this quick strike offense of BE, this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
So Graveau is back, as is Jacob Shiver. The officials checking with the Manning kickoff team to make sure they are ready.
So both teams are stretching that out. Bishop England still stretching as well. Well, I guess they're waiting for the EMS to leave the field.
Yep, EMS is still down along the far right side.
Looks like Dean Brody was trying to signal to us, so he must have some information.
Yeah, we'll go down to Brody. You ready, Brody? Go ahead, Brody.
Hey, can you hear me okay? Yeah, so it was number 52 that was injured there. It's a neck injury. They say he just kind of got into an awkward position when he was blocking on that play there. But they did say he's alert, he's talking, he's doing all right. They really just put him into that ambulance as a precaution. Obviously, he's done for the evening, but nothing overly serious or just precautionary that they put him in that ambulance.
All right, Brody. Brandon Burgess is that young man's name, so
And that's what we had hoped, Dean. Just precautionary, being safe than sorry. So that's good news to hear, and hopefully that man will recover fully.
All right, so we're back to football. Kickoff to Bishop England. Shiver taking it at the 35-yard line. Going to break one tackle, move it up almost to midfield. And going to push the pile all the way to the 45-yard line. My goodness. So a heck of an effort by Bishop England, number 21, Jacob Shiver, and 10 of his teammates.
And his teammates helping him out. Shiver a little woozy coming off of that pile, but a nice big return by that young man. And again, that's the fight that we see from Bishop England, determined not to go down. As you see, he's getting a push from about 6 of his teammates, and the ball all the way into Manning territory.
So they're down 10 right now. They've got, they need 2 scores, and they need them quickly with 3:10 on the clock.
I think the average scoring drive has been, what, 1 minute over the last?
Well, their last 2 scoring drives were under a minute and 50 seconds, both of them 4 plays. Albano's going to go to throw. It's going to be a little short. Going to be caught, though, by Will Daniel. The clock will roll on about a 3-yard pickup here.
You have 2 timeouts left, Dean, so you want to save those for hopefully after you score. So you definitely want to work the sidelines here, instruct your wide receivers after they catch the football to make sure they get out of bounds to stop the clock.
2nd and 7. Albano's going right back, this time to number 11. That's Chris Dengler. He does get out of bounds.
So taking your time.
Sets up a 3rd and 4. 2:51 on the clock, obviously 4-down territory here. So,
and even with passes, if you don't complete them, it's not all bad because the clock's still stopping. What you don't want to do is throw a pass and catch it for a 2 or 3 yard gain.
Right now, they got to put themselves in a situation where they get a 1st down or make it on 4th down. Albano scrambling, goes across the middle, goes, gets very lucky there. Had 3 players converge on that ball. That ball was not picked off. Albano had drifted about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage before he threw that ball.
Yeah, when you start drifting as a quarterback and going across your body, this is not the recipe for success. So the left-hander trying to throw right, throwing across his body, across the field. Just glad that he did not get that one picked off.
Looking for Will Bastion on that play. Bishop England now going to use one of their 2 timeouts with 2:40 on the clock. Let's take a look at our key player of the game, brought to you by Low Country Chevy Dealers.
It's like it's the big guy, the Jerome Bettis clone, that being the running back, nose tackle, quarterback. He did everything tonight for the Manning Monarchs, and so congratulations to Darius Williams, a Low Country Chevy Dealers player of the game.
When they needed to extend a drive, when they needed a 1st down, when they needed a touchdown.
They needed a quarterback stop or a sack. Or
Darius Williams.
Yeah, he did it all tonight. He's probably going to even drive the bus home tonight, Dean, after the game.
So,
but you only need 4 yards here. So you don't need to get anything major down the field. What you really need is 4 more downs. So somehow, some way, you got to come up with 4 yards here. And here comes the blitz.
4th and 4, Albano in the pocket. The blitz is coming. He throws it across the middle. Will Daniel has been his go-to guy all night long. Going to get the 1st down. Goes out to the 32-yard line. The chains are going to move. The clock will stop. 2.5 on the clock.
That's called the hot route. You just simply throw it where the blitz came from. So good job by Will Daniel stopping, turning it, and making the catch.
Albano looking again. This time he's going to go long. He's got a receiver wide open down the left side. Throws it a bit out of reach and a bit out of bounds. That is Dengler, Chris Dengler, the junior. But he was open there for a minute, wasn't he?
Yeah, he needed to throw that once to his inside shoulder. He threw it over the outside shoulder and not even a catchable pass. So 2nd down. And you've mentioned it a couple times, Dean. The middle of the field is wide open. So maybe someone can run like a skinny post right to the goal post or just something across the middle because it is wide open, especially if you can get a one-on-one coverage.
Monarch's going to send 5. He's going back to the corner of the end zone. He's got Dengler again. Dengler said, I was open, give it back to me. But Dontavius Hilton, the quarterback, says there's no room at the end here for you.
Great coverage by Manning, even in an isolation situation. Doing a great job of not allowing the pass to be completed. Give credit to Leo Albano. taking his shots.
I'm surprised that they've not run Albano. I understand what they're trying to do, but they've had so much success with Albano throughout the night.
Well, it seems like on this particular set of downs, it's been all or nothing. You still need a first down.
All right, Albano back. He's getting pressured by about 3 of them. He's going to throw it back across the middle, and he's got Dangler at the 30-yard line. I'm sorry, the 20-yard line, and enough for a first down. My goodness, what an amazing play on the field for Lee Albano. Take a look at the senior scrambling around.
Making plays, just somehow making a play, coming up with the huge toss to his wide receiver, Dangler. First down, the drive will continue for the Bishops. Probably not how Jim Daniels drew it up, but at the end of the day, a first down is a first down.
1st and 10. Now Albano's going to run it. He's going to be moving around. Livingston, with the tackle down by the 8-yard line. But now the clock is going to tick as soon as they place the ball. 1:50 on that clock. 1st and 10.
Actually, a 1st and goal, Dean, inside the 10. So here's a situation where they might want to spike the ball to save some of this precious time.
1:55. He's rolling out to his right. He's going to look back. He's going to get crushed, going to throw it up. And again, a very, very dangerous pass play, very similar to what we saw earlier on this drive.
Yeah, you got to get him rolling left. He's a left-hander, so that way it could be a run-throw option. So maybe clear out the left side, have him roll left, so that way he doesn't have to throw across his body, especially when he's starting to kind of fade back. He really can't step into the throw.
Been impressed with this Manning defensive line. It put a pressure on him the entire night. Williams over the center, Felder on the outside. Going to be a quick strike to the corner of the end zone. And that's Chris Dangler. He looked at Dangler that entire drive. Albano makes it pay off for a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. It is 36-32. Bishop England now back in it.
And great placement on this throw. Low and outside. Only Dangler could come up with the catch. Did a nice job of sealing the defender and just inside the high line. So nice toss from Albano. But the question is, Dean, will that be the last touchdown thrown by Albano here at Bishop England?
There's another
in this stadium, I should say.
Quick strike.
That one was, what, a minute?
About 1:40 off the clock on that. Most of them pass plays.
And it all goes back to the excessive celebration penalty.
Sets them up, surely.
Exactly. So you have to believe the onsides team.
The good hands people will be out there.
For sure.
The trainers coming out to take care of number 1, Cameron Kane, on that play. I don't know if he was the defensive back in question that Dangler kind of pulled up in front of.
And obviously this extra point is huge because this would make it a 3-point game, which means that should the Bishops recover the onside kick, they won't have to drive the length of the field.
Think about how important now that 2-point conversion was.
Oh,
ooh, that kick is off to the left. So now Bishop England faced with the prospect of recovering an onside kick and then having to score a touchdown to win.
Yeah, well, they've missed 2 extra points tonight. So that right now is the difference between, like you said, having to drive the length of the field, or not the length of the field, but driving to score a touchdown as opposed to being able to kick a field goal. But then again, you've missed 2 extra points, so I'm not so sure Coach Caney would even attempt a field goal. But first things first, Bishops with 1 timeout left, and they got to recover the onside.
And think about that, too. They used one of their timeouts on that drive, leaving them now with just 1. So I'd imagine if Manning is able to secure this ball, if Bishop England would get the ball back, it would be with just very few seconds left on the clock.
Yes, I believe what the play clock is 25 seconds. And of course, if Manning were to pick up 1 first down, that would end the game.
Still got some. There's the onside kick coming on this side. Williams is touching it, and oh boy, Bishop England had a shot at it, but Aaron Smith, the wide receiver, came up with the play of the game. without question.
That ball was bouncing around, and Smith, who appears to be at least 6'2", 6'3", comes up with the save of the night. Because it looked like that ball was going to definitely end up in the hands of a battling Bishop.
Number 58, Peyton Nelson, comes off the bottom of that pile.
Well, that's a situation where once you get your hands on the ball, Aaron Smith, you want to go down. He was trying to get extra yards.
Yeah, he was.
You know?
And Darius Williams, our player of the game, was the first guy to come into contact with the ball, and that thing took a funny hop. Bishop England looked like they were to recover it, and then Aaron Smith comes out of nowhere. And now Jack Owens is going to kneel this down, as he does with 1:30 on the clock. Bishop England's going to take their quick timeout.
But see, that situation, you're going to take a knee, Dean, but you want to, run back a little.
You like that play.
And then take a knee. That we can – every second is very vital. So you burn 2, 3, 4 seconds as opposed to just,
1 second.
Right.
So if we take a look at this thing, they're going to snap the ball here. 25 seconds is going to run off, and that's going to leave about, a minute 2 on the clock, a minute 12 on the clock.
Right.
And then you're going to play, then you're going to have another one.
25.
Another 25. So it's going to be probably within the 48-second range if Bishop England gets that ball back. Did I do that correctly? Somebody at home's going no.
You got to take off another 25 because on 4th down, they can let the clock run all the way down.
Okay, there you go.
Punt,
so probably under 20 seconds on the clock. Now, here's why I don't like the idea of backpedaling and then kneeling. I think it just kind of invites, they're going to run a play here. I don't think they're going to kneel at all.
Hopefully it's a stretch play.
And you've got to stay in bounds, and you're going to cover up like a turtle. Now, Jack Canny is calling another timeout. So we obviously had missed a timeout somewhere along the lines because we had him with no timeouts.
Well, no, because even the scoreboard says no timeouts.
So now we're going to have some real confusion here. Keith West across the field is all the way out to the hash mark trying to find out what's going on.
Because obviously we knew he took one in the last possession, so that was took one on this first down play. The last possession, that's 2. Did they take a first down or a timeout in the third quarter?
Must have, because there's no other conversation going on right now.
But must not, because the clock's not running.
Right, so they must have had another timeout that somewhere we missed and the clock operator missed as well.
Well, that's a whole different dynamic.
So you got 1:20 left now.
It'll definitely be less than.
It's going to come right back to my 48 seconds, isn't it? They're going to go ahead and run a play here, not kneel it down. They're going to throw the ball. How about that play?
And if he runs out of bounds, that's going.
It's not going to matter because it's going to be close to a first down. They're going to spot him short. They're going to throw the ball to David Fulton, who had problems with his ankles earlier. He comes up limping on that far sidelines, and they're going to call it 4th down now.
And did he step out of bounds?
And I believe they stopped the clock. I believe that clock was stopped.
But wasn't there a minute and...
I think the clock is... It must have been 1:29 in case they were... I guess they're missing a few bulbs here. So right then, Fulton could have gone down. They're going 4th and 1. They're going to go for it, and they're going to give it to their big back, and there's going to be an offsides call. This play is not going to matter. It's going to come back. And Williams is going to run in for a touchdown. He does not know now that there was an offsides call. I think there was movement on the right side of the offensive line for Manning.
Wow. But it does take some time off the clock. So is that 109?
I think it's 109.
Right.
We need to have some light bulbs sent over to Bishop England here. They can fix up their scoreboard.
Yeah, false start against Manning. Wow. So that now changes everything. Yep, there's the rock right there by 40. And so now 4th down, you almost have to punt the ball. Because it's now, I guess, 4th and 6.
Well, they're going to the clock is going to start here, and they're going to let the 25.
Well, no, the clock won't start because remember before the play started, it was the clock was stopped. Remember he ran out of bounds. So yeah, so the clock won't start until the snap.
On the penalty.
And it looks like they're going to go for it.
So here we go. 4th and goal, or 4th to go, 4th about 6 to go. They're going to give it right back to Williams, and he's going to be taken down to the 45-yard line. So Bishop England, with just over a minute to play, with a crazy set of circumstances here on Manning's final drive. They got 1:05 left with no timeouts.
Yeah, great job by Mac Hunter. Just shot the gap and able to get in the backfield before Williams could get going.
One of the 20 seniors who starts on offense and defense for this Bishop England team.
Does Leo Albano have one more miracle in him?
You know who Captain Lou Albano was,
exactly,
right?
the wrestler. That's why
right.
I was thinking about
We've only
him.
done it once tonight. That is rare. You've got 4 wide receivers in set right now for Albano. Here comes the blitz up the middle. He's going to go outside of the pocket. He's going to throw it short. His ball's tipped in the air. And what a great catch by number 3, Christian Graveau. It is not a first down. They are moving the sticks. And again, that was an awfully close spot to not pull out the chains and check it. They're going to go ahead, stop the clock, and they're going to run it again. And with time clicking off, Albano's going to roll right. 45 seconds on the clock. He's in the pocket. He's going to heave it downfield.
Got a man.
You got a man downfield, and it's going to be a touchdown. He mistimed the jump, and Albano pulls a rabbit out of his green hat for the Berkeley Electric Cooperative touchdown, energy touchdown, and a heartbreaking, what seems to be loss for Manning right now with 41 seconds.
I'm not so sure. No, I thought it was an offensive pass interference, but no, he didn't touch the guy. And yeah, Albano, for the first time tonight, rolling right, throwing across his body, just threw it as far as he can, and falls right to the hand of Will Pashton for the touchdown.
We saw that play pulled off twice by Manning, once for a touchdown, once for a long gain. And now Bishop England turns the table on the Monarchs.
Is that a Hail Mary? Literally here at Bishop England?
I don't know. I'm not sure where that falls in the rosary beads. But another short kick. And it's 38-36. So now Manning has a situation where they've got one timeout. And they've got an opportunity to drive down and kick a field goal to win this game.
With a penalty flag on the play. Is it potentially roughing the kicker?
Not with the way that they're coming off the field.
Personal
and that is
foul.
DeJuan Wilson, who's had a nice game.
Oh, boy, Dean, but that's a personal foul against BE, so that'll be issued on the kickoff. So very similar to what we saw with Manning. That means Manning could potentially have outstanding field position here after this kickoff return.
The Bishop England sidelines going crazy here. Let's see if they...
And BE was already reluctant to kick the ball deep, so back them up 15 yards.
Is that what they're doing?
It's called a personal foul. So from the 40.
No, I think it was a...
Yeah, so 40.
Okay, so they spotted the ball, then the personal foul. They're going to back him up to the 30-yard line or the 25. They're going all the way back to the 25. Great pickup, E-Dog.
Yeah, so this could be huge. I mean, you get a big return here. Now, I don't think Manning has any Mark Mosleys that can boot it through the uprights in a pressure situation. But 41.1 seconds left, and as you mentioned, Dean, one timeout, work those sidelines. Anything can happen, and this is very similar to last year's game. Coach Candy mentioned the Hadley went back and forth, and then a last-minute touchdown by David Fulton was the difference.
DeJuan Wilson walking head down the backside of that field. Had it covered, simply mistimed his jump. That's all it was. So Bishop England now kicking off at the 25-yard line. Let's see what happens. They're going to squib it down. It's going to be picked up by Cameron Kane. He's had a great day. He's fumbled the ball around. And now he's going to reverse field,
Oh,
and he's
boy.
got a wall of green coming after him. He's going to make it back to the 30-yard line, burn some time off the clock, and now a flag goes down on the backside of the play.
Yeah, the last thing you need is to waste time. He wasted about 8 seconds running backwards, and you have a penalty flag. So whoever gets the unsportsmanlike conduct, it's going to be huge either way.
Disappointed to see to get chippy in this game with all that's happened on the field. As sloppy as this game has played, has been as exciting. But we remember the young man taken off the hospital, Brandon Burgess.
Blocking the back against Manning. So that just made their
Made
drive.
their trek to the end zone a bit longer.
Exactly. What a game. Give credit to Bishop England. While the game is not over, but to even be in this situation. Down 10 with 3 minutes left. There was no quit in this team.
Yeah, they started up 13-0 after 3 turnovers by Manning, and then Manning scored to make it 13-7. That's what we said, 13-7 at the half.
Yeah.
And then it was 14-13 Manning, and then after a BE fumble, another touchdown by Manning made it 21-13, and then things just got crazy from that point. 28-13 Manning. Albano with a long touchdown run made it 28-20, and Albano comes back to make it 28-26. And now we're sitting here at a 38-36 Bishop England game, and they continue to back them up even more, Everett. I mean, they were looking at the 30-yard line, and they're putting them back at the 10.
Was it 2? I saw him
Was
indicate
it a block
twice.
in the back, a block in the back,
Right.
and then a personal foul?
That's why I thought he was just repeating the foul, but I guess it was multiple infractions.
Jack Owens comes out of the pocket. He's going to tuck it. He's going to run a little bit. He's not going to make a first down. The clock is going to go, and you better blow the whistles and blow it quick.
Well, that's not necessarily. That's why, I mean, at this point, you just have to throw it up because that's not going to really do anything. And they're just letting the clock run. Manning still has 1 timeout left. Wow. I don't quite understand that, Dean. Had 1 timeout left. You scramble. I mean, he lost about 20 seconds on that play.
Yep.
Because on the scoreboard, it says they have 1 timeout left.
I'm going to tell you, with all that has happened and the turn of emotion and the turn of the of what's happened in this ball game, it's not hard to understand how and why this team would lose focus. Owens back, looking left, looking right, going to get rushed out of the pocket. The ball is on the ground, and now they're going to call it a touchdown for Bishop England.
Oh, what a way to cap off the night with a cause fumble recovery, touchdown for the Bishops.
I'm going to tell you right now, look at Leo Bano in the end zone. Look at him in the end zone, helping up the other players.
A great effort from both teams.
Cameron Kane, a hug in the end zone between those two.
Daniel Hollister with the fumble recovery for the touchdown. And Leo Abano, just a class act. On the field, off the field, great sportsmanship, great athlete.
Wow. Haven't seen a football game quite like this in quite some time.
I mean,
and for so many different reasons.
Just 3 minutes ago, BE had 26 points, and they scored 18. Was it 18 points?
Mm-hmm.
In 3 minutes. You know, we joked that their scoring drives were a little over 1 minute, and lo and behold, that's exactly what's happened. This time, it looks like the extra point is good.
Yeah, it was 28. It was 28-20 as we were heading into the fourth quarter. Albano with a 1-yard sneak made it 28-26 with 8:50 on the clock. So they have put up, 19 points in 8 minutes. A defensive touchdown, a long touchdown strike through the air.
Just refuse to lose, not on senior night here on Daniel Island. And now set up a huge game for the region championship next week. Bishop England at Timberland. Dean, we saw Timberland against Hanahan That should be a heck of a ball game next week.
All right, so there was some misunderstanding on Bishop England had called, or Manning had called a timeout before their two-point conversion. That that timeout was credited to Bishop England, so Manning actually had no timeouts right there. 6.9 seconds on the clock, and that is number 3, DeMont Dennis, going to take it around the left side, and he stays in bounds. This game is over. And a win for Bishop England, 45-36, sets up a big game next week against Timberland. As for Manning, they played their hearts out. And towards the end, a player taken off in an ambulance. And they struggled to finish this game off. And hard to understand why not.
Yeah, just an unbelievable effort by Bishop England. That's why you play to the end of the game. Game's never over until the scoreboard shows 0. Just what an effort, Dean, by Leo Abano. I just can't say enough about that kid tonight.
Great way to finish out a career here at home. Albano hugging Darius Williams, talking to all the Manning players as he walks down that line.
Just mad respect. I mean, just the ultimate competitor. I mean, just played hard. For the most part, a clean game. And just in the end, BE just made one more play. And that's why they will get the win tonight and remain undefeated in region play.
Well, this is one of those games, one of those losses, one of those circumstances that players and coaches alike on that Manning sidelines will have a hard time sleeping tonight. And then I think when Keith West goes back and looks at this film and takes a look at some of the situations that maybe he could have or would have done differently. But I like the program that they're building here, and I think they've got some great athletes on that side of the field. And again, Leo Bano has literally stopped and talked to every single member of the Manning team. He's going to continue to go across, and now he's going to speak to the wide receiver, David Fulton, who had an outstanding game for the Monarchs. You know, but as Manning starts moving towards the playoffs, I think they've got the skill set and the players to make a move and to win a playoff game, and that was one of their goals. They may not reach their goal of 8 wins now with this loss, but they certainly have the ability to win a playoff game. As for Bishop England, what can you say about Albano? He has been an incredible pleasure to watch for 4 years, and he and his team now standing by with our Brody Hart.
Coach, you were down 36-26 at one point. You won with 3.5 minutes left. You won by 10. What just happened?
I really don't know. I got to watch film because that was something that I've never seen before, and I don't know what happened. We were slinging the ball. We stopped them, and that was an incredible win. Our guys didn't give up, and I take a lot of pride in our guys not giving up.
I'll tell you what, we can hear how excited they are. I could see it all throughout the fourth quarter as you mounted that comeback. Just tell me about the heart they have and how they're not afraid to show it.
Well, I mean, this is our character. This is what we're about. We're about persevering through every single play and battling, and we're the battling Bishops, and that's what we are.
Go ahead. This is your all. Take it. Enjoy it.
So congratulations to the battling Bishops. Bishop England coming back with an impressive come-from-behind win tonight in a exciting football game without question. A football game also impacted by the injury of a Manning football player. So as you put your head down on the pillow tonight, say a prayer for Brandon Burgess,